Make sure my stuff is updated. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Source 4 Show with me, Edwin Source 4. How are y'all doing? We got some new stuff to talk about this week. A lot of stuff's been kind of going on in like the entertainment world and personal world. Here is me as my co-host. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Rick James, bitch.
Yeah, you're Rick James, bitch. That's what we're going with
I
this week, huh?
I only wish.
I know I wouldn't be doing this shit if I was Rick James.
I mean, in 2024, who knows? There's not nearly as much cocaine, nor do people appreciate funk. Do love Rick James though. Which, by the way, just side note, doesn't matter at all. But there's something that I like a lot. There's a guy that has a radio show that I enjoy, and I don't listen to it.
Oh yeah,
because he had all of the choices in the world. Like, could have done like the Rick James Power Hour, whatever you want, but it's the Ike Turner Music Hour, and like Tina Turner wasn't great, but Ike Turner beat her like nothing else in the world, like to the point where it was just like common media knowledge that it's like, yeah, we did drugs together, and then I beat her within an inch of her life, like pretty regularly. That's just also a great music producer.
You know, that's a wonder. That's a choice for a name for your show.
Like, well, and it's one of those like bordering on old hardcore guy things where they just, I mean, right, Dead Kennedys is a band. It's shock value. I get it.
Yeah.
But it also like it just ain't gonna happen. I caught it one week on accident because it was just in my feed, listened to it. I was like, oh, this is really good. And it's a DJ that I like. Like he has other shows that I listen to. And then I like second week came out and he's like, it's the Ike Turner. And I was like, oh no.
Welcome to the Domestic Abuse Power Hour. I'm your host.
Sponsored by Doritos.
Sponsored by Doritos and Mountain Dew. Do the do.
Oh, that's Taco Bell.
Oh boy.
By the way, Baja Blast in cans. I bought some. There's no caffeine in it. I mean, there is caffeine in it, but there's no caffeine in it.
Yeah. I've had like the zeros or whatever. They taste different. I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like they're not the same.
Well, obviously they're not the same. Like they're pure fucking sugar when they're Mountain Dew. Like I don't know. What I was gonna say is, even relative to shitty diet soda, which I think most diet soda does taste like asshole. Diet Mountain Dew actively tastes like poison. Like it tastes like you're taking a mouthful of caffeine powder mixed with a little bit of fruit flavoring.
Most most zero sodas usually taste pretty decent to me, but Mountain Dew Baja Blast Zero is not great.
I think part of that is, and I don't mean this to be taken the wrong way, but I do think you have, if it's not like addictive personality, it is definitely like a pacifier type complex where just like it's not like you have to eat or have to drink, but you have a habit of it. You just like having a sippy, you like having a snacky, and that's not something that I necessarily share. To where like the fact that you had built up such a tolerance to soda and then cut it out, something had to go there. So, you probably wouldn't notice if it was fucking kerosene. Whereas when I was like, yeah, I don't really like soda. It doesn't really add value. Then I was just like, don't drink soda.
I've always been sody boy for life.
And that's but I think that's where it comes from more than anything else, because like with maybe the exception of Cherry Coke Zero very specifically, I think every other like zero sugar soda or diet soda or whatever you want it to be, like some of them are fine, but none of them taste like soda.
Yeah, I don't know. Have
you tried any of the probiotic sodas?
Like I bought a couple of them for somebody else because they were interested in like the flavors of them, and they were like, these are terrible. I was like, oh no.
See, I had one when they were on sale when they first launched at my grocery store, and they just taste like Shasta. which is fine. Like, that doesn't bother me. I have a special place in my heart for Shasta Cola and Tiki Punch.
See, what I want is like, I love energy drinks. I want like a cola flavored, like 200 milligrams of caffeine energy drink. That sounds
They had it.
amazing. I know it, but they don't have them
Rockstar made
anywhere
it for
anymore.
years.
I can't buy them
Hold on.
anywhere.
Hold on. Hold on.
I think Bang had like a Miami cola, but Bang is
Oh,
fucking
it
dead.
sucked.
Yeah, Bang's dead
No, it
anyway.
didn't.
So
No, it is not.
is it not?
Absolutely not. No.
Huh?
It's still probably got the biggest market share outside of like Monster and
Fascinating.
Rockstar. Red Bull,
Fascinating.
right? Red Bull.
Yeah,
Red
yeah,
Bull.
yeah, 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 yeah. Whatever.
Oh shit! Do you remember Coca-Cola Energy
I
and
I
Coca-Cola
don't
Cherry
because I've never
Energy?
had it. I want it though. As soon
It
I
was
went on a
everywhere.
journey
It was
looking
like,
for this.
but
I went on a
yeah.
journey looking.
So,
I was like, why does this not exist?
so there was Rockstar Cola. Then they removed it, and then it came back as a limited edition cyberpunk flavor, and it would appear that you
Ooh,
can still order it from
fascinating.
a regional grocery store chain that ships worldwide. Hold on. Let's see. Can I make this come to you? Or better yet, where are you located?
Let's
Anybody
just
know where
Google.
Family Fare is? Feels like local Dollar Tree to me, but it's probably just like Piggly Wiggly. Albion. Oh, I actually know where this shit is. It's all gonna be in Detroit, isn't it? Oh no. It's Michigan, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas. There you go.
I can't believe they had like a cyberpunk edition flavor of this thing. That's fascinating to me.
I remember it being on the shelves now that I see the can. There
I
was also
probably
a
did
Monster
too.
Cola,
Yeah,
but I think that was one of those like Japan specific. But you could get it at not Wizards, the other game store in Norman.
sure.
Um,
Yes.
no, Speeding Bullet. Sorry, Comic Shop.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Was it Speeding Bullet or so? Anyway, yeah, it was Speeding Bullet. I thought it was. I was gonna say Silver Bullet or something for a second, but whatever.
Werewolves versus Superman. I get it.
Yeah, yeah. Speeding Bullet makes more sense.
Oh,
That's
here you
definitely
go.
what it used to be called.
You can also order cola flavoring from Sneak Energy. Come on, buddy. Don't you
Oh,
want the weird little
bro.
mouse thing? It would appear to be a rabbit on second view.
Let's get some
And
sneak
XS.
energy.
Hell yeah, they used to have way different branding. I think that anyway, I understand. I Miami Cola, I am almost positive still is on the shelves. Like
I
I
just,
think if you go to Quick Trip tomorrow, you
yeah,
will have it.
I couldn't find it like at my grocery store or whatever, and like online, nobody had it anywhere. So I was like, I guess it's dead.
Well, you can get cherry Coca-Cola Energy zero sugar from Liquor Junction, and that's the only place I see it online. We bought so much of this shit.
I'm just gonna start buying like
we're
caffeine
underwater.
powder and
And-
just putting it in my Coke Zero.
Yeah, don't bother with that. Instead,
Just do the caffeine powder and have a Coke.
I mean, you could, or just like go to CVS or Walgreens and go to their sleep aid aisle and find the caffeine pills because they have those too.
Yes.
I
Oh,
bet they actually. I don't know if CVS and Walgreens would. They're sort of pseudo science medicine on their shelves. Like they have a couple aisles of like botanicals and shit, right?
Yeah.
When I was in college, you could get no-dos at like two places, and they were Rite Aid and truck stops.
Hell yeah. Going down
And
to the
that was-
Flying J, and you're gonna be flying all night on that no-dose, brother.
Well, and then there's like the real trucker meth, which is not meth. Like that is the common phrase for high caffeine or
no, yeah. No, I know.
stimulant pills.
I understood the assignment. I understood what you meant.
Anyway,
Yeah, but anyway, this weekend,
get
no, we started talking about something or other. Oh, we talked about
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. There's like a gelato. Did you see that they made like a fucking gelato of the Baja Blast? I've seen mixed reviews. There's people who are like, this is delicious, and there are other people who are like, this tastes like nothing.
I mean,
It just tastes like ice.
it's gonna taste like sugar. Is what it's gonna fucking
Yeah,
taste like.
yeah.
Like I don't know what anybody else is
Yeah,
expecting.
I don't know what
You're gonna get a
anybody
spoonful of
expected.
blue. You're gonna get a spoonful of blue, and it's lighter blue than normal blue flavored, but it's still blue.
Yeah.
It's not even blue flavored anything. Because like, isn't the description for Baja Blast like a citrus breeze, and then it's fucking teal?
Yeah, it's like pineapple and something else in there. I couldn't quite like tell you what the
Uh-huh,
flavor of a
uh-huh.
Baja
You know
Blast
what?
is.
You know what color any of those things are?
Not
Not blue.
green. Yeah, not bluish green.
Anyway, it's fine. Yeah, the whole cantina menu. I mean, they announced all of these items like
Yeah, it's
back
just
in.
they've taken a while to like start making their way into like where the public can get them.
I don't know. I'm far more fascinated by the fact that Domino's Pizza serves tater tots and Subway serves foot-long churros now.
Yeah, so the Domino's one kind of makes sense because Domino's owns a lot of weird like Uber Eats ghost kitchens that are also Domino's Pizza. So they sell like hamburgers and shit out of them too, but they're not like officially Domino's. They're like like chicken wing house, chicken wings, and it's just like the most generic looking
Uh-huh.
photos of chicken
That
wings ever.
that doesn't make sense at all to me, actually. What I think is you should limit your ingredient list because that's how you maximize profit. It's why
Well,
there's
they're
so many chicken restaurants.
Well, that's why they do these ghost kitchens because they're literally like, well, we already have a restaurant. Let's sell a bunch of other shit out of the back of it. We've got the equipment to do it. Or they're literally just like, we don't have any retail space at all. It's just
What?
a
No,
blank
hold on.
building that cooks
Hold
and
on.
delivers all the time.
Explain to me the equipment at your pizza restaurant that you use to make tater tots.
If you have a fryer and you make mozzarella sticks,
They don't.
I mean, I'm sure they have like mozzarella sticks on their menu.
They have breadsticks, sandwiches, pastas, pizzas, and then relatively recently they've added in these chicken items.
They might have bought
And
the
then
fryers
on
just
top
to
of
be
that-
like, look, we're missing a corner of the market here, brother.
And they're not even good. Like that's the like. But why would you ever think like? First of all, tater tots, bad idea. Second of all, tater tots and pizza, also bad idea. Third of all,
it's for the people who are stoned ordering it, or if you have a family member with one person who's very, very picky and won't eat anything else, and they're like, I need to eat something, and you get them tater tots to make them happy.
they're still like $12. Like that's the other thing
Ah!
I'm gonna say.
Oh my
it's like
God.
it's very much like just the same price as everything on their menu. Like I over exaggerate, right? If you do any of their coupons or whatever, it's like two for
Yeah,
10 or
you should be able to do that shit.
two
Yeah.
for 15 or whatever, and it's one of the items that you can pick in the same way that like I just anyway, I was trying to make a point that it's dumb, and you're trying to make a point as to how it has a place on the menu. I also don't understand why anybody would want to order a foot of cookie or churro. Like that's so much.
I used to
Who
love
needs-
getting churros from like Costco used to sell churros when I went there, and they were like $1. So you would get like a foot long churro for $1, and it was awesome. Delicious. Cinnamon, warm sugar. Ah,
This is
yeah,
what's
give me that.
wrong with. I mean,
Give me
it's
them
a
churros.
symptom of what's wrong with America.
Oh goodness, so much.
Why the Cheesecake Factory is the height of our couture. It's the
God.
best restaurant for all.
Oh my God.
You can't not like the Cheesecake Factory, man. You want to know why? Because the Cheesecake Factory has everything on their menu. You want Italian? It's there. You want Cajun?
It
It's there.
is just the
You want
most
Chinese? It's there.
thoroughly. It is just the most thoroughly adequate food a human being could produce. And like it's just barely edible. It's
It
why,
is.
but it has the most calories of anything I've ever seen
In
ever.
fairness, it is better quality than most people can cook at home.
That makes me
Meaning
sad.
Applebee's
But
quality.
yeah. I forget.
And it is Applebee's quality of anything you can think of. Like, if you wanted to be a real basic person, you could go to Cheesecake Factory every day of the week, order
Yeah.
something different,
Yeah.
and you'd never run out of shit to order. And I
Yeah.
would be sad for you because your veins would be pure sugar and lard. Like, I just
The one time I went there, it was like not my choice, like a few years ago, and I ordered like I was in like the midst of like my heavy duty diet time, so I was like, well, what the fuck can I eat here? And I like thankfully the
chicken and
menu
rice?
had no, the menu had like the calorie counts of everything on it, and I was like, this is like the worst advertisement for everything on here because I was like, everything here is poison except for the filet mignon steak, which was like the least calories and like also the most expensive fucking thing on the entrees. I was like, of course, this is what I have to order. Great. The most mediocre steak ever of all time. But it was steak and it
What?
was edible, I guess.
I got a sirloin in Detroit last week at like 8 p.m. at a Longhorn Steakhouse inside of the airport at Detroit. And
yeah, how was that wonderful piece of meat?
it's boot leather. And
like
on
chewing
top
on
of
your
that,
Red Wings.
I mean, it was very cooked. But on top of that, if you're not aware, a majority of restaurants in airports won't give you a knife to cut your steak. Like you have like a butter knife.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's dumb, but it makes sense.
I mean, not really, because they give you a fork, but whatever.
Just let people have fucking knives on planes again. Fuck it. Why are we doing this shit? Why are we doing this to ourselves? You have a guy with a gun on every plane, one person with a knife. Just let him have it.
Nah. I'm not gonna endorse that shit. But I can have a knife to eat. Or coming like let the kitchen staff have a knife to cut the food, and then they have to cut
Yeah,
that
they can
fucking
just
steak open
pre-dice
that
it
was
for
ordered
you or
medium
something.
rare,
Yeah.
and they go, oh,
Uh,
we fucked up.
we don't fuck this one up. We fucked this one up extra good.
Toasty.
I love we've killed almost 20 minutes so far. We're doing great. We're doing great for time. I don't care. I'm not in a huge hurry.
Hey, you were talking about how busy all the things were and how much you had to talk about, and now
I mean, I
now
got shit to ramble
we've
about, and we've just been
I know,
rambling
but
about other
now
nonsense.
we've hit the Achilles heel. We've decided to discuss fine dining at airports.
The fine dining of what if that was like that'd be a cool like maybe that'd be a fun content brain YouTube series. Just go and like eat at every restaurant at your airport or whatever and like review them very seriously and just hate yourself.
I mean, part of the problem there, I guess you could probably get a press pass if you wanted to like really get it going, but you'd have to get access.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, or I could do it because I go to the Charlotte airport once a month. It would only take me about a year to review everything.
That'd be such like an interesting series. Just I am reviewing this one particular restaurant at my one particular airport because I had to fly out this month. Here's what I think.
You know, Dave Gamir
Yeah, Davey.
is like fascinated with airports and their design, and so like he likes having long layovers so that he can walk through them and like rate and review them. He personally believes that like certain airports are the nicest in the world. Yeah, absolutely. Like you should have this conversation with him sometime. It's very interesting.
Okay.
Or don't.
No, I'm just like boggling my mind at this thought
It
that
was
this
one
is
of
a
the
thing.
first conversations I had with him, other than finding out that he was vegan, so that we chose food that like made sense. Well, I guess he's vegetarian.
I think of
Which
airports as like purgatory, like the closest thing to experiencing purgatory
yeah,
to
but
me is
like
airports.
doubly in fairness, how many airports do you see with any regularity that aren't Dallas Fort Worth and fucking Philadelphia? Like, arguably, Philly's a nicer airport. Both of
I
them
mean,
suck.
most of the ones I've spent the most time in have been Philly, DFW, O'Hare, and like Fort
I like
Lauderdale.
I honestly like O'Hare. Like,
Yeah,
it's
O'Hare's
big,
fine. It's fine.
but it's like when I have to spend 3 or 4 hours there, it does not hurt my feelings. Versus like,
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't know. All of the Delta hubs are starting to look the exact same. This is a totally stupid conversation that we don't need to get into, but Memphis's remodel, Raleigh, and Detroit, like almost the exact same footprint.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you design it
Feels
one
and looks the
time and
same,
just
same
redo
design
it
elements.
at all of them. Yeah.
Same restaurants,
One
same
and
clothes.
done.
Yeah, I don't like it. Want to talk about something on your list?
Yeah, let's talk about some fucking video games and shit. No, let's we're done. We're done with airport
I get to
shit.
do it again next week, buddy.
Oh boy. Let's just fucking all right, first thing in video game stuff. Concord is just fucking dead. It might come back at some point, but like as of right now, time of recording in September, it is like dead. It is
there's
just,
two notes.
Yeah.
One, they pulled the plug because there wasn't a player base, which
there was no players. Yeah.
Which is why they are.
It was costing them money to keep the servers up. Yeah.
Probably not. But servers are not that expensive, especially when you're a company like Sony. But I would bet that they had more servers than they needed, and they could have pared them down, or they can say, let's take this back to the drawing board and give it another fair try.
Yep.
Or maybe they were just done with it. The more fascinating two stories that I have on that. Like I do think it'll come back. Like I
Yeah, it needs a
don't
little
think
bit while longer in the oven, I think.
I don't even think that. I just think it's going to be something more akin to like um I don't think they're a
Hmm.
WB. I don't think that a Japanese company is ever going to be comfortable in saying we're going to write this shit off and destroy it rather
No,
than release it.
no. I
Like
I think it's gonna go
they value
percolate for a
labor
little
too
bit.
much. I don't think they value individual labor too much, but I do think they value labor too much.
Yeah, I think what's going to end up happening is it's almost certainly going to come back as a free to play game at some point. The question is like
Yeah.
when, because it's already kind of been stained by this launch, and like for the next few months, there's like other competitors in the space that'll be taking up like a similar slot. So it's like it's for up until at
Like
least
what?
December. I mean, Marvel Rivals is coming out in like 3 months, which is like a big competitor to them. I would say it's like the same exact space, and it's a free to play game that has a very big license behind it.
Yeah, but 6v6 third person, very much payload focused game versus 5v5 didn't even have a
I
payload mode.
I know. I'm just saying, like, if you release against that, you're just not going to have any players. People are going
Yeah,
to
I mean,
flock to the
I
Marvel game
I
over
would,
years.
or they drop it around holiday time. Because
Yeah,
I mean, Rivals is early December. I would drop
yeah,
it around if I was going to, and make sure that you get that built-in player base. A bunch of people that have a bunch of free time on their hands,
yeah.
college kids, regular kids, folks that get time off but don't have families or do have families that they ignore.
Yeah, it's just kind of a bummer because like everything I saw about this game, like it didn't seem like at its core it was bad. There was like a few like systems that I thought were a little like strange, like having the roster of like variants of heroes that had slight percentage differences and stuff. I was like, this should have just been like loadouts or something. I don't know. It just seemed a little odd. And
I
like
never even got that far into it. I just saw
people
the
were
gameplay
also
and
just
thought it
like
looked good.
real shitting on like the character designs, being like, this is like so unoriginal. And I was like, I think you
Oh,
guys just have broken brains, because like I looked at them like a few of these designs, I was like, these are pretty cool. I like them personally, but maybe it was
well,
just
I mean, I think they're generic, but that's not the discourse I've been hearing. It's not, wow, these are bland. It's, oh my god, you made this a sexless game, and if it was
yeah,
sexy, then it would have sold.
yeah. That
Like,
I did see one
how did
that
you
was
make a
like,
game that's only women and non-binary people, and none of them are hot?
and like people with bulky spacesuits and shit. Yeah, I saw one that was a
It's the
comic
only
that was
discourse I
like,
see.
that was like Rule 34 artists like flocking Overwatch, and then Concord comes out and they're like, look at us, and they look at that and just go, ugly. Go back to Overwatch. And I was like, yeah,
I mean,
I
if
don't.
if we want to try this out real quick, I don't know any of the character names, but I bet I can find it. That's why Rule 34 exists,
Oh,
motherfuckers.
I'm sure it is there, but it's just like, these first person characters aren't quite fuckable enough for us.
Well,
I
where's the fucking Disney princess hero shooter, guys?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Just saying, like that's what it was. That's what Overwatch was. It's they aped Pixar's style. They didn't do anything creative.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Reinhardt's a glorified Buzz Lightyear figure. Like, come on.
their like whole thing was like kind of a Saturday morning cartoon inspired art style, which that was the whole
And it
idea.
didn't end up being that. Every character is like Pixar character build and design, down to the weird cartoony eyes. Those eyes. The sharp.
Those those eyes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so the two stories that I like from Concord shuttering
Mhm.
its doors.
Yeah.
The folks on PlayStation that are brokey brain
Uh-huh.
are committing suicide in mass because it's the
It's the
easiest
fastest way to level up before it goes offline.
They're trying to get a platinum trophy before it's gone, so that they have an uber rare trophy. And then the other one is, right, we talked about briefly talking through Gamescom, like there's the new show that's going to be on Prime that's like
there's an
love letter to
episode
video
of that
games.
show that's going to be Concord or whatever.
I mean, I don't know that it's a full episode
Or
in the same way
Concord is
that,
going
like,
to be featured in it.
yeah, because I mean, there's definitely a block of that is going to be PlayStation focused. I don't know if it's getting its own episode or if it's just the one, but like, I would be curious because the other thing that was a selling point for Concord was
It's
their draw,
narrative
their reason to
cutscenes.
come back. Well, but there was a new one every week. That
Yeah.
was why you came back. It wasn't to do your
Yep.
dailies or whatever else. It was
Yeah.
come and watch the new part of the story. And
Yeah.
I'm
The new
like,
part of the story next week. We'll see you new cutscene, and the
which, like,
cutscenes looked good.
in fairness, they did learn a lesson from Blizzard.
I mean, it worked great for Blizzard. The guy who was behind those cutscenes like did a great job, and it was. I mean, they worked well. People loved them when they were coming out.
Except Blizzard promised and never delivered any of it. Like,
Yeah.
they released what, 6 of those animations were before the game released, and then how many of the later ones were anything that wasn't a character reveal?
Yeah, there was the thing
like,
that happened was partially
you're definitely gonna get story, and you're gonna get campaign, and you're gonna get PV, you're gonna get all this stuff to learn about the world of Overwatch, and then like you had a 3-page comic about how Ana lost her eye, and you're like, oh, okay.
If I remember
Never beats your grandma.
correctly, the guy who was like the narrative director for that game just like straight up fucking died. I think is what happened. Like he just died, and when he went, no one picked up the mantle afterwards. I think is what ended up happening. But
That's great. Stop promising it.
yeah,
Make the statement. Be like, hey, the guy that was the dynamo behind this passed away. We're gonna leave this as his legacy. We cannot fill those shoes.
Yeah, you would think that would be what would happen if a company talked to people like a human instead of like marketing speak all the time.
And then you can make Overwatch 2 like Wowverwatch or Star Watch, and you just use all of your existing fucking character IP to do a new flavor of your hero shooter. And then you don't have to worry about the fucking story anymore. That's what they did to my boy. That's what they did to my child. Do you remember the story of Warcraft? And then WoW came out and they were like, yeah, we don't have story. Are you kidding me? You can fight that as much as you want. Give me beyond maybe the first expansion any story that's worth talking about from WoW. Because they very quickly were like, what if it all went to the shitter because we fucked up the lore so badly that it's irrevocable?
Wrath of the Lich King has an incredible story, but it's also like the first time they really gave a damn about story. And then like the Legion expansion had an incredible story as well.
Was Wrath of the Lich King not part of like the original battle chest?
No,
that
no.
is
Frozen Throne was part. Frozen Throne was that. That's like the beginnings of the story, and then he like
Also
fucks off and vanishes. I mean, yeah, it's like where he came from, but it's not like there's a lot more story after that.
It only took us 16 years to tell a single story. Good for us.
Oh, Brian, this is the reason why like a lot of the most recent expansions for WoW have been dog shit. It's because they killed off all of the characters that people knew from the Warcraft games. They don't have any more new characters anyone cared about.
I would argue that they stopped doing anything interesting with them very early on. Like, I don't know. Did you play Warcraft 1 through 3?
Yes.
Because, like, that is the biggest tragedy for me is that we're never getting another. Like, it's just not going to happen. 30-year anniversary of Blizzard, and they're going to be like, what if we release some new skins for May?
Yeah, RTSs just don't do it anymore. It's just not happening. It's a bummer.
It's literally the national fucking sport of South Korea.
Yeah, well, it's not selling Call of Duty numbers, so it's not probably ever happening again.
Yeah, what at Blizzard is.
The new expansion's doing good for them. They're making a lot of money. People are talking highly on it right now. I'm out. I've been out. Like, this is like the second expansion or third expansion that I haven't bought now because I'm just like, I'm out. Which is a bummer because I love my characters and I have a lot of fun with them, but like, I just don't have it in me anymore. I just don't care.
Again,
I don't give a fuck about the story.
I could have, like, that game was probably tailored to be my crack when it came out.
Ruined my life in like high school and college. Loved that shit.
But they made you buy a game and then pay monthly to play the fucking game. And I said, oh, that's a scam. And then I never played it.
Maybe so. I justified it as like when I was playing WoW, it was the only video game that I was playing. So I wasn't spending money on buying other new video games. So I was like, whatever. Keeps me going on this and there's new stuff always. So whatever.
Right. But all of its competitors that do essentially the same thing. are typically there are paid premiums that you can use, but it's not, oh yeah, just to play our game, 15 bucks a month, 20 bucks a month. Come on, buddy. You can, what are you, cheap? What is that money for? Oh, by the way, there's a new expansion out. Oh, cool. Does it come with my subscription and the game I
Nope.
already bought? Fuck no.
Fuck
It's
you,
a full new
noob.
game. It's not even DLC priced. Come on, buddy.
What's funnier to me now is that there's like so many expansions now that like if you've
It's The
missed more than
Sims.
like one or two, no, they just kind of go, yeah, just buy the new one or whatever. We'll give you the other ones. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
cool.
It's The Sims. Again, it's not, it's Destiny does the same thing, right? It's not a situation where they want you to spend $700 to buy the game, but they do want you to get introduced to the game. So they're like, oh yeah, here's all the content we already made. And you're in like 4 months after you're sick and tired of it and you're swearing off of it and you say, fuck this game, I fucking hate it. Here's a new $60 expansion. Come on, buddy.
Here's a new couple dungeons and like a little breadcrumbs of story. Come on. We definitely have an
Also, I
idea
made
of
a
where this is
cosmetic.
going.
You definitely want. It's only $40. Come on.
You only want to spend $60 to get this cowboy hat for your Titan. Come on, brother. You know, it's what
Yeah,
are you
were
cheap?
come on. Yeah, you were about to unsub. Come on.
Come on.
$15.
Come on.
What are you,
Give me
cheap?
another hit. Come on, I'll give you another hit. Come in here. Come in here, kid.
I'm so thankful that it's not something that I bought into. Because again, like I get it. From the outside looking in, I totally get it.
I'm so glad that I just was physically repelled by like the story and design of most of the characters in that game to not fucking care. Because I was all in for Destiny 1. I bought like a Destiny PS4 and like all that shit. I was ready, and then I played it. I'm like, what the fuck is this game? This sucks. There's no story here. Where's the story? Oh, it's all on our website. They have to go to specific pages to learn. I'm like, put it in the game. Why do I have to go into a website to read it?
Speaking of RTSs that don't sell, Age of Mythology remaster on Xbox. Very nice.
Yeah.
You should play it. I'm going to shift gears to another game that you probably will never play.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
But
Let's go in.
It may be the single game that makes me want a PS5, and hopefully they launch it on PS or PC for me.
Oh, yeah.
You heard anything about a little game called Astrobot?
I'm very familiar with Astro's Playroom and Astrobot.
Not Astro's Playroom.
I know Playroom was the free demo that comes on the PS5. Astrobot's the thing that's out now, and people have been saying it's great.
More than a demo.
No, I know. I'm just, it came pre-installed on everyone's PS5,
and everybody loved it. Anybody that touched it, at least.
Everyone I know is like, yep, this was great. I didn't even know it existed until people started talking about Astrobot, and I was like, huh.
It's good. I'd make you play it, except I think it's also maybe VR. So
it's not. There's no VR. I'm sure, as far as I know.
Maybe that was the That was the second game. Anyway, you say people like it. Are you aware of what the critical reviews are prior to its release?
I think it's gotten like perfect scores across the board from people. Like I've seen like stupid high scores for this thing.
Because I don't think that ever happens. But it's like 95 fucking %.
Yeah, people are like, this shit's dope.
And
I've seen bits of it, and I'm like, it looks fun.
Everything about this looks good.
It looks like
probably figured their shit out. It
looks like a simple, fun video game. Yeah, I mean, it gives me a lot of like Ratchet and Clank vibes, but like with more whimsy behind it. And then we're gonna have a few reference characters to our other properties that we own, and yeah, you're here.
Well, so the other like even funnier part of it to me though is I think like in the same breath as everybody being like, this is great, they declared that they were spinning out into an independent deal. Like almost immediately they're like, yeah, the dev team's not going to make another game for PlayStation. So it wasn't a PlayStation game after all.
Rip. Oh well. Seems like it was cute. Seemed like it was doing well.
I mean, it probably will do gangbusters. I think it officially released today. So
hell yeah. Good. Yeah, it looks like just simple and fun. That's all it needs to be.
Should buy it. Should buy it now. Go be the
No,
tiny robot.
no, all my money's going to Space Marine on the 9th.
It's okay. Somebody's not enough a big enough pay pig to play the game today.
No, I'm not dropping an extra $40 to get it a couple days early. Are you fucking mad? That's stupid.
You get a slightly different armor pattern too, I'm sure. And maybe the soundtrack. You know, all the things that are highlights of this game that is.
I don't
Boy
give
oh
a
boy,
fuck.
looks
I don't give a
so
fuck.
much like the original. I somebody showed like gameplay side by side yesterday after they had played a few hours on Wednesday
Mm-hmm.
of the like pre-embargo, and they like did their best to do all the like weapon combos side by side. Like there's straight up animations that might have just been reused. Like they're using the
Maybe.
new models and certain textures. It's very entertaining to me. I also I spent about half an hour watching somebody playing through some of the co-op missions to see what that looked like.
Uh-huh.
And they kept talking because right, it's the same guys that did what DayZ or War Z or one of those
Daisy.
World War Z. But they're like, these guys, man, they really fixed the horde. That like these guys are it's so intelligent, and they swarm you, and they use differentiated tactics. And then like watching them play the game on the hardest difficulty, and it's just like they rush you from in front, and occasionally you have to tap counter for something jumping at you. And I'm like, ah, yes, advanced AI. Like I just it's such an interesting thing, and like again, I'm coming into this not as a fan, not as somebody that's sold on the concept, so I do have a little bit more objective look. But if you're going to try to sell me on advanced AI and advanced tactics, it can't be the same thing every time. Like you remember old Call of Duty where it was just or GoldenEye, right? Like old shooter games.
Yeah.
AI would have scripted responses, and they could
Yeah.
only do these set of like 3 or 4 things. And then we got smarter AI, and then like they're going to try to relocate and flank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get smarter AI, where they try to flush you out using grenades and shoot you once you move, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
the natural progression to the point where, like, again, not a game that you love, but The Last of Us 2, if you went and really fucked up and people were looking for you, they were very creative with how they tried to find you. Like, it was very interesting. Like, stuff that you haven't seen in video games, not just like Batman Arkham, where they're like checking the vent and
He's somewhere in the
destroying
room.
gargoyles.
Yeah, get
Well,
them
but
gargoyles.
again, they were smart enough that they understood Batman's tactics. So if you had used it once on the harder difficulties, they would start destroying. Like if you had used a vent takedown, they would seal all the vents. Or if you had used a gargoyle or ledge takedown, they would start breaking the things that you could hang them from. Like,
Uh-huh.
that's what a smart AI is to me. So when they're like, "Oh man, it's shit that you've never seen before," and I'm like, "No, it's the flood. Like it's just a group of enemies coming at me. That's all this is." It does look like they're getting fucked up. Like it looks like it's hard and grimdark, but
Yeah.
they just like there are multiple situations where you'd like walk into a room full of Tyranid and they would not interact with you until you started killing them. Like you're within feet of them, and it's like, oh, better shoot one in the head, and then they all wake up, and you're like, fuck me, man, that is just so fucking janky.
Man.
I mean, here's to burn out my hot take. It's very telling that it's a zombie game because zombies
What?
also don't react until somebody lets them know you're there, right? Like that is stereotypical of The Last of Us, of DayZ, of not Dead Rising. Dead Rising is very much just like waves of enemies, but like Dead Island would be in the same vein where it's just like the AI is real fucking brokey to where if you're across the map and you're shooting people in the head, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You're standing right next to them and you do nothing. They don't give a fuck. But if you touch one of them,
Oh.
then all of a sudden there are billions of enemies on top of your corpse.
The zombies come.
Come on, piggy.
I'm not
You got
doing
a
it. I'm
whole
not.
Saturday to play this
Nah.
game, boy.
Nah, I'm gonna go like outside and do things. I'm gonna go see Beetlejuice and shit and like hang out with people in the meat space. I've been doing a lot of that recently. That was one of my topics. Is I did a few different like interfacing with people in the meat space, and it was fun.
Beetlejuice, though.
I'm gonna go say I was originally like the first trailer I saw for it. I was like, this looks like they're just redoing the first movie's plot line. What the fuck is this? And like it kept there's like a second trailer I saw when I went to the movie theater one time, and I was like, oh, okay, so it looks like they're kind of doing a little bit more of like a plot from like maybe I never watched the animated cartoon. That wasn't a thing that I watched, but from my understanding, it was like Lydia and Beetlejuice were like actually friends in the cartoon, and that's why like a lot of kids when they first saw the first movie were very confused. They're like, I thought Beetlejuice was her friend. I don't understand. Also, why is this 40-year-old man trying to marry a child? What is happening?
I mean, I guess I can see that. The cartoon didn't come out for years after the movie, though.
No, I know.
But
That's the thing.
I understand if that was your introduction and then you did it.
That wasn't mine, but it was a lot of people's. I saw the movie like a long time ago, but it was way after it had already been out. So
old. I think Beetlejuice is one of those like core, like Beetlejuice, Ghostbusters, Blues Brothers, Star Wars trilogy. Like these are movies that I do not remember a time that I have not seen. Like I am sure there was a time that I saw them for the first time, but I was like 2. Like I genuinely like I grew up with those films. So like,
yeah, I didn't see a lot of those until I was like way older already.
And like I'm not a Tim Burton defender these days. Like I think that he had his place in time and it's long past and he just keeps clinging on. Like he had a very good run of early 90s, and I would even say like Edward Scissorhands is like the start of the bad movies.
Yeah, that one's kind of
did he do Sweeney Todd? I know Johnny Depp did Sweeney Todd.
I think so. I think he is. I think it's one of those ones that's another in the long series of weird films where Tim Burton has Johnny Depp killing his wife in the movies.
I actually don't know.
I always forget that Helena Bonham Carter and him were or are still married. I don't remember if they're together or not. Still, I don't.
Divorced in 14.
Well.
Been with Monica Bellucci. Also, I say divorced. They never were married.
Huh.
They just were together for like a decade.
Okay, whatever. People said what? People called her his wife, so.
Yeah, I mean, like Sleepy Hollow, Ed Wood, Mars Attacks, movies. But like, you got Edward Scissorhands. You got fucking Planet of the Apes. Remember Planet of the Apes? The first of the bad ones. He did do Sweeney Todd. He made his animated movies that I am not big on. I know other people feel differently about that.
I love his animated movies.
I just like Corpse Bride. You couldn't pay me to watch.
See, yeah, I've never seen that one. So
okay, so what you're really trying to say is I really liked Nightmare Before Christmas.
I really do love Nightmare Before Christmas.
You know what the other one is?
Frankenweenie. Yes, I do.
Disney's Frankenweenie that definitely came out and was a movie. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, Dumbo. Like, dude, just
I did see that Dumbo, yeah,
recently, and then he's also got his
it's a hit or miss.
His TV stuff. Like, he's a producer on the Wednesday Show, which is why this Beetlejuice movie exists.
That makes a lot of sense.
Hey, you know how we rebooted the Addams Family? What if we do it with Beetlejuice? Hey, look, it's younger version of same character. What if we do movie again? Member? The parents will like it because we do member. Also, it's a Beetlejuice movie without the best cast. Like, why bother?
Who's the best cast? Who are we missing?
I mean, there are multiple cast members that are.
I mean, Alec Baldwin's not in it.
No. In no world were the parents or the corpse ghost people the fucking focus of this movie for me.
Yeah, the only one that mattered to me was Michael Keaton. Like, you have Michael Keaton, you got Winona Ryder. Those like the two people that matter in these fucking movies.
I just also so I'm looking at the wiki right now, and Beetlejuice is the second film in the Beetlejuice franchise. Is the way that it's listed.
Bro, they've been doing like a fucking marketing
There is a dedicated
splurge on that
Wikipedia to the
motherfucker.
Beetlejuice franchise, and it is 2 entries of like one paragraph each.
Bro, every fucking like brand that existed is doing like Beetlejuice collab, and I'm just like, this is fucking weird. Like, it's just everywhere. I was watching HGTV with my mom, and they had like a little Beetlejuice fucking thing come up in the bottom instead of like HGTV for a minute. I was like, what is happening?
But there's the Harry Belafonte that I'm sure they'll do again, right?
Oh,
Even if
they
it's
have
not
to
the
do it
Banana
again.
Boat
Remember?
song.
Yeah, remember? Got to do it again.
You know what? You know what it might be? Maybe it'll be Jimmy Buffett instead. Wouldn't that be fun?
Ha 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 ha. Remember the one shrunken head guy? What if we made like 30 of him? Because that was really funny in the first one.
Well, but that's my point. Is like the side characters that are memorable, which I would argue are the highlight of the movie, are not in this movie. Like Robert Goulet, very dead. Glenn Shaddix, very dead.
Who was that in that movie? I don't know. I watched this movie yesterday. I don't know who some of these people are.
Robert Goulet is the man with the pencil stash. He's Maxie Dean. Otho is.
Oh yeah, Otho is great.
He died at 50 or 55. Like he's been dead for a decade. And
I also forget that movie is so much older than I think it is in my mind.
Well, but again, he was like 40 years old in the movie, and he died like within the
within like 15 years.
Like, Dick Cavett, like, you know, from the Dick Cavett Radio Hour, but like he's like, there's just the surrounding cast. So like, yeah, I think they've got Catherine O'Hara, and like that's cool. You've got Michael Keaton, who I can't imagine is bringing the same energy. Like
Michael Keaton's been killing it in everything that I've seen him in. Like that's why I'm on board right now, is because I'm like, 76-year-old Michael Keaton has been killing it, and like everything I've seen him in like the last like 5-6 years. So
and what of that has been slapstick, over the top body acting, and what of it has been very serious drama? Because I think he can act. I don't have doubts in Michael Keaton. I have doubts that Beetlejuice is a character that anybody wants to see 76-year-old Michael Keaton do. Like, it's gonna be Harrison Ford as Han Solo again. I'm just telling you, it's the same age.
Yeah,
as Force Awakens Harrison Ford. He's gonna be shuffling out there and going, "It's showtime," and everybody's gonna go, "He said the line! He said the line!"
This one does.
Stakes.
This one does feel like a soulless cash grab in a lot of ways. I'm not gonna deny that in the slightest, but I'm gonna go see it. It's like on my like, if I wasn't burning my Cinemark movie credits to go see this shit, I would not be going as much. But I'm like, I want to go see a movie with my mom. And I got movie credits. Let's go fucking see it, because I don't think anything else that I'm super into is coming out for a while after this. What? What is this face that you are making?
I'm not gonna say anything out loud, but the plot's already on the wiki.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of know the plot already from just like trailers and shit.
Do you now?
Little bits, little bits and bobs. Someone somewhere like kidnaps fucking Lydia's daughter or some shit, or she runs away or some shit, and she needs Beetlejuice to help her. Yada yada yada.
Would it surprise you that there's definitely a wedding involved? Again.
What? No.
Hold, actually. I'm not going to say anything positive about this except for one thing, which is evidently Willem Dafoe is in this as Wolf Jackson.
Yeah, he's in this movie. Yeah.
Fucking what?
Yeah, Willem Dafoe's in this. Some other like actress is one of the other like villains or something. I can't remember who she is. She's like
Monica Bellucci.
He has like stapling her fucking face together or some shit in the trailers.
I assume it's Monica Bellucci.
She looks like fucking she looks like Morticia Addams if she stapled her face together.
I mean, probably not in real life, and I haven't seen this clip, so I can't say anything about it.
Yeah, I just every time we've gone to the theater.
This movie, let's talk about Minecraft, because boy, oh boy, What the fuck is that? This is
What
the
the
question.
fuck is Jason Momoa's character? That's what I want to know. Because that
No,
thing,
this is the. I
what's
mean, it's a
happening?
Minecraft. It's a Minecraft isekai, and
Yeah,
Steve's been there the whole time. Come on, buddy, keep
yeah.
up. There's
We're just
nothing
doing
crazy going
like
on with Jason
Jumanji, I
Momoa's
guess. I
character.
don't fucking know.
But how much did you like Minecraft? Like, were you a Minecraft guy? Did you play that game? Did you learn all the
I
types of crafting and
Bro, I played in
find
the
your way to the
alpha.
Nether?
I was in like the alpha for that game. I was on that shit early. Like way before Microsoft was involved.
Sure. What I'm saying is, did you like it? Did you play a lot of it?
It was fine. I played a good amount. I played a lot of it, I guess. I played around with it for like a long time. I played like some multiplayer stuff. It was fine. It was just kind of a game that I was like, this is an interesting thing. It's fun, but it didn't have a lot of staying power with me. And that was mostly because the combat had like the depth of a puddle. It was like spam your sword or spam whatever thing and just like hold left mouse and the thing dies. Back up a little bit, run forward, back up a little bit. And that was how you did every combat in the game. Like there just wasn't any depth outside crafting and making things. I was like, all right. It was fun. It was atmospheric. Survival and like multiplayer PvP was kind of stressful because there's somebody that could be just around any fucking corner and you had like hidden bases and stuff. That was kind of fun.
Well, so they didn't do the visual.
Yeah.
Like, nothing about this looks like Minecraft.
It doesn't. It looks like a fan imagination of like the fan edits that I see on like Twitter sometimes of like the 3D movies people make on Twitter of Minecraft.
And the people are live action people. So
Yep.
they didn't even do live action people in Minecraft world. They did live action people in sort of Minecraft world.
Yeah, it looks like Minecraft from Temu or whatever.
I mean, it looks better, right? They didn't do the blocks. They didn't do the. I mean,
But they kind of
don't
did.
take the wrong thing away from that. They did a graphical update to Minecraft, which is arguably not the right thing. But here's my my passing knowledge of Minecraft. Like, I did not play this game, but they show a couple of clips of enemies or maybe just villagers, and they've all got varied weapons, and a lot of them have like gold and silver and platinum and diamond weapons, and you're like, huh, those are not things that those enemies would ever have. So sure, they can explain it away in the movie, but I bet they don't. They show, oh look, Jason Momoa is doing crafting. Like, did you catch that they did?
Oh, I
crafting,
saw
like,
that.
from Minecraft?
Look, there's two things you gotta put in this
Explain
movie.
to me.
You gotta mine and you gotta craft. That's the whole fucking movie, bro.
And if you put 2 diamonds and a piece of rope or stick together, you get 2 buckets on a chain.
That might have been a recipe. That might be a recipe way later than I've ever seen, but I don't think that's a thing that's even in the game.
That's what I'm saying is, like, I don't think there was any logic to this. I think they were just like, we got to get crafting in the game. All right. So we're going to show him crafting. What's he got to make? Oh, you got to make buckets on chain. So,
well, he's got to make a MacGuffin of some kind.
And what do they use? Yeah, I mean, they use diamond on shit.
Yeah, my kids play this game. I know what this is. 2 diamonds in a chain. They make a bucket of it.
Well, to make a bucket, it's like a V, right? Like you do a V5.
Yeah, you do like a U. It's like a 3x3 grid. So you do like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you make a little like U shape in the boxes.
Again, I don't know it well enough, but I just like every single item that they like included. I'm just baffled by the one last one that I've got. Llama.
Yeah,
right.
There's llamas in the game.
Thing, I know. If there's one thing you know about Minecraft llamas, it's what? You don't fucking fuck with them.
Yeah, I guess.
They don't go away. They keep kicking you. They do not leave you alone. They're like chickens in Zelda.
Oh, yeah?
The only choice they made for this trailer was
to include that. Yeah.
Is a coward.
Oh.
like there's a fundamental disconnect here. I don't understand this media. I don't understand the game. I still think it's gonna do great. It's gonna do great.
Oh, this is going to make more money than God. That's what makes me more upset is that this movie is going to make just stupid money.
When they make the Five Nights at Freddy's game, it's gonna do the same thing. Like, people are gonna love it. It's gonna turn out in droves. It'll be fine. I just look at this and I'm like, no one that played this game made this.
There's a couple of scenes that I saw
Also,
that told me that
hold on.
somebody did.
One final takeaway. You know what song's playing the whole time?
Oh, I didn't watch it with audio. I
It's
don't
a
think.
goddamn Beatles song.
Yeah, because this project had more
What
money than
choice
God
is that?
behind it. I'm sure.
Sure, but like,
We're not going to use any of the original music for the video game that is pretty iconic to a lot of people.
Like, no. Pixar slash DreamWorks slash who's the people that make the Minions movies. The one thing they always get right is they use a pop song or a current pop artist to make a song for the movie, right? Happy. Happy by Pharrell is from fucking Despicable Me. You look it up on the soundtrack. It's not on an album. People love this shit.
They have another one that's in like the newest Minions movie that's like a fucking good song. And it's like, God damn it, why is it so good? I hate that this is from the Minions movie.
They use a deep cut from either Sgt. Pepper's or the Magical Mystery Tour by the fucking Beatles. On what fucking planet are these people?
I could not tell you.
One more aside, because now that I'm looking at it, it all makes sense. You know who's making this movie?
Is it Lionsgate?
No, it's Warner Brothers in tandem with Legendary Pictures.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, you got the Joker sequel. Like, absolutely. This is the same schlock. This is what makes it to fucking theaters. These aren't the things that get pulled and thrown into the fucking dungeon forever. There's no Wile E. Coyote movie coming out. Don't ask about it again. But boy,
there's no Batwoman movie coming ever that was fully made and ready to go. What are you talking about? We're never releasing that to anybody.
I forgive that one. That did not look like.
I don't know anything about it other than it was like done and ready to go.
And it was going to be a stinker. Like the premise of it was just bad. The biggest selling point they had was, we're going to have Michael Keaton show up and so will the Flash.
Just shovel it out to your fucking streaming service then and leave it there. Just like fucking throw it on there.
Again, I'm not writing off the act of getting rid of it entirely. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. If you're gonna fucking shelve something.
Yeah, maybe that was the one.
No, maybe the fucking Joker sequel.
Yeah, apparently that's bomb. Is that out?
If it's not, it's out any day.
Because I saw like a review for it, and I was like, it might be in like early previews or something.
For the reviews for sure.
Oh yeah.
For a while.
Oh yeah.
That's what people you should be going to see instead of Beetlejuice. Come on, buddy.
No, I think I'm making the right choice.
Only adieu. October 4, so we're 3 weeks out.
Okay, yeah, we got a while.
All the reviews that I've seen so far is that they you see the trailer for Joker. You see that Harley Quinn's going to be included. You understand that the first one was sort of a meditation, if you will, on the idea of the Joker and maybe gun violence and mental illness in America.
Yeah.
Not a very good one. Mostly just a knockoff of a better Scorsese film, but whatever. All the reviews are like, they mostly just do flashbacks for the first movie, and it's like 2 hours of courtroom drama and 30 minutes at Arkham. That's very interesting. And you're like, good choices. Job, Todd Phillips. Well, and that's the thing is like, the first one didn't really have a fucking shot in hell. The fact that people liked it, I still don't understand. I have watched that movie. It was not interesting.
It's fine. I like it.
It was visually striking. I think they did interesting things with the cinematography, but like, it's possibly Joaquin Phillips's most phoned in shit role. Like, I would watch her again before I'd fucking watch the Joker. Anyway,
I think it's an interesting like meditation on like a person who like the system forgot and like just fucking let fall through the cracks.
Watch The King of Comedy.
Yeah, well, I hadn't seen that movie, so fucking I couldn't make the comparison because I didn't know that other movie even existed.
Which is not a problem. Like, I understand that, like, there is that, but like, quite literally, the entire plot of The King of Comedy is an outsider. Like, it's a delusional stand-up guy who's trying to get his shot in show business. He wants to get on stage on his late night TV show, and then people keep brushing him off and brushing him off and brushing him off. And like, literally, the finale is him fucking killing the guy and getting arrested. Like, it's the same fucking movie. And
Wasn't
by
it
the way,
funny?
it's fucking De Niro. It's De Niro. It's
Yeah,
way
again,
better.
yeah. Wasn't it funny that like when that movie came out, they were like, "This is gonna be the school shooter manifesto" or some shit. Like there was like actual like fears that like people were gonna riot or
I
something.
mean, it was far less that. I mean, it was a little irresponsible, right? There was a little bit of the you're taking a children's character,
Hmm.
ostensibly, right? It's the fucking Joker. You can't have too much value on that name. Kids are gonna watch it.
Yeah,
And the entire movie is a meditation on, if you're a 12-year-old, the glorification of violence when you're the outsider. Like, come on, buddy.
yeah.
Be
You have
better.
like baby brain or whatever. Yeah,
But again, it's a shot for shot remake, and everything that's quote unquote changed is for the worse. Like, very much there is a certain amount of you root for the character rather than being upset by the character. Like, they very much
yeah,
do that in that film.
yeah. They do make him a lot more sympathetic.
Well, do you remember who made the fucking movie?
I don't fucking
The guy
remember.
who cut whole cloth? Oh, it's Todd Phillips. You know what Todd Phillips made before he made the Joker?
No clue.
He made Old School. He made School for Scoundrels. He made Starsky and Hutch, and he made the 3 fucking Hangover films. That's why we don't like it. It's because it's a fucking garbage director who then had the fucking gall to steal somebody's work whole cloth and try to pass it off as his own. Like, the nicest thing I can say about the Joker is, yeah, I liked it a lot better when it was called King of Comedy. And that's all it is. Like, yeah, it was memeable. Yeah, the guy dresses up like a fucking clown. Like, good for him. Joaquin can carry a scene. I will give him that. He's still not near as good as De Niro in King of Comedy.
Yeah, yeah, probably so.
But hey, he's in Gladiator, so that counts for something. Speaking of Gladiator 2, come on, guys. 2 gladiators, 2 gladiators.
I don't know who that movie's for. Is anyone actually excited about that movie? Because like,
Every dad.
yeah, I mean, I guess every like middle aged dad, sure.
Joe Russo. I think you underestimate, like, Robert Evans. Go watch that fucking movie.
Yeah,
If you're the kind of person that the meme of the Roman Empire exists because of, like, I don't give a fuck about the Roman Empire. I don't give a fuck
I
about
guess.
any individual Roman emperor, except for maybe like
I don't give
Nero
a
and
fuck. Yeah.
Caligula. I like the crazy ones when Rome's going like into spasms and death throes.
Uh huh.
But like, come on, man, we got Denzel Washington and Pedro Pascal, and it's Ridley Scott, and
You
Ridley
know,
Scott's gonna lose so much money on this because every time he releases a movie, he screams about how people don't watch movies anymore.
yeah. Well, with peace and love, like first off, I love Pedro Pascal. I'm kind of tired of him being in fucking everything the same way like The Rock and Jason Momoa are in fucking everything. At least he's like kind of a good actor, but I'm just kind of tired of him.
You know what? I will say, in the positive, despite the fact that they're making it 24 years after the original movie, the Gladiator sequel is only like twice the budget.
Oh, way to go.
Fairly reasonable.
Is
It's
it 3
only
hours?
oh, undoubtedly.
I was
Hold
gonna
on.
say, if it's
there a
Ridley
runtime?
Scott, is it 3 hours? Because it's gonna be 3 hours if it's been a Ridley Scott project recently.
Well, I mean, the first Gladiator was. Hold on. Is there runtime on the wiki? Runtime. Nope. But like the first one's like 2.5 or 3 hours long. Like, yeah, probably. I I can't imagine that it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's Ridley Scott.
People, have you seen Gladiator?
No,
You should
never
watch
seen
Gladiator.
Gladiator. I don't give a fuck about Gladiator.
It's Russell Crowe back when Russell Crowe was caring about acting. It's really
Instead of
good.
just phoning it the fuck in.
Well, it's not so much that. I just like I respect the hell out. Have we had this conversation already? If we
Probably.
haven't had this conversation on this podcast, like, here we go. Russell Crowe has decided that he cares about acting, but he will not do anything to meet a new role.
Nah, he's just
He's
being
not getting in
himself.
shape.
Nah, he's
not
like, I'm
losing
coming as
weight.
I am.
He's not cutting his fucking hair.
He's keeping the
He's gonna
beard.
walk onto the stage. He's not gonna do an accent, and if he does an accent, he's not gonna commit to it.
It's because he
Like,
wants to.
it's amazing. But also, you should watch Gladiator.
I am like the opposite of that Roman Empire meme in that I don't give a flying fuck about the Roman Empire. It does not occur to my brain. I don't think about it like ever.
Mm-hmm. You should watch Gladiator. It's just that good. Like, Ridley Scott also doesn't really make a bad movie though. Like, the
Yeah,
only exception
as much as
for
I'm
me
gonna
is the
meme on
fucking Martian.
him. Yeah.
And that was bad because the book was bad. I don't know why anybody wanted that ever.
People liked it.
And this is the elitist in me. Like, I'll just be perfectly frank about it. The Martian is written for a fucking 2-year-old. It's the worst book ever. Like,
yeah, it's written for people who don't understand like how science works. I don't think that guy understands how science works.
But like, legitimately, he'll be like, you don't want to be outside in space because it's cold. And you're like, fuck, why did you write that? Why is that in this book? And then, oh, by the way, then they made a movie and it's fucking Matt Damon delivering the line.
Yeah.
Like, it's the book is written as a private journal. The movie is a guy walking around and noise coming over his radio or a VO, like the VO. Like,
him talking over himself, yeah.
Like the bad version of Blade Runner. Like when the studio said, "Hey, we need to record a bunch of video notes because we don't understand what happened in this Ridley Scott movie." And Harrison Ford came in and hate recorded a fucking VO. Like,
you know what? Harrison Ford's an icon. I'll give him that. Fucking love you. I fucking love how unfucking bothered he is. He's like, fuck you, I'm doing whatever I want.
Well, but he didn't hate the movie. Like, he genuinely liked Blade Runner as a concept. Like, obviously, it's sci-fi, and he kind of is like, yeah, whatever. Like, Star Wars sucked, and this is not much better, but I like the concepts in play. And I get to work with real fucking actors like Rutger Hauer. Like,
yeah,
okay, let's do this shit. And then the fucking studio comes back and says, we don't know what's going on in any of these scenes, so for basically the entire 90-minute runtime, we need a voiceover of you explaining what's happening for every transition. And it's the reason that like the new Blade Runner and Dune work is because, for all of his other faults, like, Denis Villeneuve knows how to film an epic. Ridley Scott knows how to film an epic. You should let scenes breathe.
Yeah.
It bores some people. But you know what's worse than boring people? That are the wrong audience for you anyway? Is filling that minute-long meditative scene where you're like
with VO
from
exposition.
Well, and not only that, but again, he was angry. So it's genuinely, he's like, well, so I went down to Chinatown, decided I was going to look around and see what was what. I got something to eat at the ramen bar. I ordered ramen at the ramen bar. Like, you can just feel him seething under the surface. Like, it's just, there's no emotion. It's not, it's very, like, take Captain's Log from Star Trek and strip out any
inflection or like emotion.
Emphasis. Yeah, it's awful. And that's the only experience a lot of people have had with Blade Runner. That is what it is. It's because nobody sits down. Well, some people will sit down with them, but most people don't sit down with them and say, oh, you've got to watch this cut. Because there's also like 5 cuts of the film. There's the original movie, there's the director's cut, there's the final cut. And I want to say there's a third one that I'm blanking on, which are just different variations of like, here's what the studio wanted, here's what the director wanted, here's what the cinematographer wanted. Like,
everybody got what they wanted at one point in some version of it or another, I guess.
Well, and sometimes, like, I think the director's cut is not Ridley Scott's cut. Is like part of it is the studio released a director's cut, and he's like, this is not my cut of this movie. Like, this is just what they wanted to release as the we've got 30 minutes of extra footage, so we put it in version. One last movie, Apartment 7A. Gonna stay brief on it. It's a horror movie. Kind of looking forward to it. Female director, made a couple of other good movies that I've enjoyed. And sneaky, they bury it in here, but it's a prequel to Rosemary's Baby.
Huh, okay.
Which I I don't like the idea of prequelizing or sequelizing horror films very often. But if you're not familiar with Rosemary's Baby,
Cursory
it's
familiarity.
it's kind of The Exorcist in that they're trying to like trick
Uh-huh.
her into being the the
The
spawn mother of
carrier of
Satan.
the Satan
Yeah,
baby, yeah.
yeah, and like it's a great movie. There's a great twist. You should watch it. It's fucking classic for a reason. We should watch Rosemary's Baby also. But Roman Polanski made it, and he's a fucking creep, kind of like Woody
Yeah.
Allen.
Yeah.
Um, and so the fact that this prequel, one, there's a lot of fun things you can do with a satanic cult, especially since like in a throwaway line in Rosemary's Baby, they're like, the previous tenants of this apartment like had a rough fucking time. You can be like, ooh,
Yeah.
we can get weird with this. We can get weird and wild and violent with this. Let's get bloody pentagrams going. Let's go. I'm on board.
Yeah, let's
And
go.
again, if you've got a female writer and director tackling the subject that is essentially like body autonomy horror, and you get to kind of say fuck you to Roman Polanski in the process by saying, hey,
Yeah,
remember
fuck
that
you,
movie you
Roman.
made?
Yeah, fuck you, Roman.
I'm on board.
Nice.
Um, music. You're not a Linkin Park fan, right?
I know that they got a new singer, and I know that she's a Scientologist and also an R word denier for somebody. Like says somebody's like not didn't actually get like assaulted or raped by somebody.
That's not the R word that I ever have used as the R word.
Look,
I thought you were trying to
I
say that
censor
she's
for YouTube.
No, I get what you're saying, but I thought she's out here being like an autism truther.
No. She might be. She's in Scientology for who fucking knows. Honest to God, those go hand in hand with each other a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, you covered the main parts. One, don't give a fuck about Linkin Park. Two, think it's weird that you're bringing your band back and
Yeah.
reviving a corpse. They're co-lead singers, which is kind of weird, but yeah, like, unfortunately, this backlash is not happening because of that. It's happening because she's a woman. Like, that's just what it is. But
and I'm sure there's a lot of people who actually do give a fuck about Linkin Park that think it's weird that they're like, you're replacing Chester. He killed himself. It was very sad. Why are you doing this? Then I'm like, the rest of the band probably has no money and needs to eat. And needs to be able to tour, probably.
He's a producer and a DJ, and
okay, yeah, but like most of the people involved, I'm sure, are like, I need to tour so I can make money. And only band and project I was ever in that anyone cared about was Linkin Park, probably.
Yeah, maybe. I would assume that they have more money than God at this point. Like, they sold very well. People like Linkin Park. I did not. But what softens the blow, I guess, in more ways than one, and I very much think it's kind of gross. But you know what Chester Bennington did before he killed himself?
He did he make a suicide note or something, being like, "Please God, never revive my band and don't replace me."
Not anywhere near where I was going, but no, he like filled in as the lead singer in Stone Temple Pilots or one of those other grunge bands.
Yeah, he did.
Did exactly this. He did exactly this. He made a band worse by replacing their old lead singer to revive a band.
Yeah.
There's a new Gnome single. Because I don't give a fuck about talking about Linkin Park if you don't care about them, and I don't.
No, I just think it's very funny that like all of like the most divorced dad energy people that I've known in my life are like really excited about it. Someone on like one of my social medias was like, hell yeah, it makes me feel like I'm 13 years old and ready to punch a hole in drywall again. And I'm just like, you need psychiatric help.
It's like, so I don't know if you ran into this, but they did the One More Time. Like maybe 2 years ago, Blink-182 released a new song, and it was the first time their original lineup was back together in like 10 years, but it was the first time they were back for like a tour in like 20 years, right? Whatever. Same thing. Like, it's this saccharine, weird song, and everybody's like, holy shit, the boys are back. And I'm like, are they though?
I feel like it's all marketing or something, or it's always just like the dumbest people with bad music taste that I know. Because when Metallica came out with like one of their more recent albums, like there's a lot of people I knew who were like, Metallica's back, baby. And I was like, this is the worst Metallica I've ever heard. And I like Reload. Like, this is terrible. Please, God. Like, I could have
Oh,
lived
I
without
mean,
this ever
whatever their
existing.
most recent, the album that released like this year or last year is probably their best since like And Justice for All for me. Like cover to cover, the album is good comparatively to like the Some Kind of Monster or whatever the shit they were doling out in the Death Magnetic tour. Like that was rough,
Yeah.
man.
I like a
When
few
they were
songs
making
off
their
Death
Guitar Hero
Magnetic.
games,
Death Magnetic has some decent songs on it. But anyway,
not for me.
it's like that same thing to me. It's like the same people.
Well, and I will, to play devil's advocate, like I'm not shitting on the people being happy that this is happening. I'm
I'm
shitting on
glad
the
that
people
they're
that are
happy.
upset that it's happening.
That's funny to
It's
me.
like, well, I mean, because it's the same impetus or instinct as like when My Chemical Romance got back together. I think you were pretty excited, right?
I
Like,
was
I
because I
get
never
it.
got to see them tour because I was not a fan of their music before they broke up, which was a bummer.
There's probably a lot of Chicagoans that never got to see Linkin Park, and now they're gonna get to, right? Um,
I guess
outside
so.
of Chicago is what I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know people that like their whole purpose in life was like rise against in Linkin Park because they
Oh,
were
I do.
Chicago kids.
I knew a dude in Texas whose whole identity was he fucking loved Linkin Park. Like this is probably the best day or the worst day ever for him, and I kind of want to know which one it is.
Yeah, for me, it's like there's also people that are like, this sounds nothing like Linkin Park, mixed with people that are like, this sounds just like the good stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like, if you think on that band's career, and like again, I'm trying to move on from this shit, but I'm not going to, evidently. Like, what is Linkin Park to you? Because they haven't had a song
Rapping
where the guy was,
over piano
and that's
and
and that's
not
the
even
thing
like
is,
good and like baby brain like analogies.
and where you're making that statement, they haven't done that since 2005.
Yeah.
They had like 7 albums where that wasn't the thing. Do you remember the Transformers themes that they did?
Yeah.
The shit. I don't know any of the songs now that I say that. Shadow of the Day. And the sun will set for you.
See, the only one I remember is the in the end being used in Transformers 1. That's all I got. That's all I
Yeah,
remember.
that was fucking 2000.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
That was 24 years ago. Yeah.
no, the Transformers. Hold on.
They're not that old. I was not 6 watching that.
It wasn't. I'm telling you that the song "In the End" came out in 2000.
Oh,
Hybrid
yeah,
Theory came
sure.
out in or Meteora, sorry, came out in 2003 or 4. Like,
Yeah.
that was when they stopped doing any of the rap rock shit.
Yeah.
And then they had, I'm looking here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 albums, if we're not counting live albums, that came out. Like, I have no idea what people like out of this. Like, yes, you and I are thinking like, oh yeah, Crawling and In the End and One Step Closer to the Edge and I'm About to Break, right?
Yeah. What's the other
Fucking
fucking
Limp Bizkit shit.
one? There's like another one I can't fucking remember right now.
I bleed it out.
Breaking the habit. That one fucking song.
But again, like probably most of these singles that you're referring to
Uh-huh.
were like before they really hit their stride and made any money.
That's funny.
So, like, I don't know. I also have a lot of love for specifically Chester Bennington. I did not like his music career at all, but I do really respect like the people that he spent time with. Like,
Huh.
the various artists that held him in high esteem are not like fucking Fred Durst, right? It's people like Chris Cornell who killed himself a year before Chester, but like they were closer than brothers. Like on the anniversary, by the way, like there's a very good chance that they were related. Was I'm already dealing with depression and I'm also remembering my dead friend. Like,
Uh-huh.
so, you know, I can't begrudge it too much. It's just one of those, like, I don't know who of the original lineup is here at this point.
I
I know
couldn't tell
Mike
you.
is. If he's co-signing it, he's half the band, right? As far as most of us are concerned, he's half the vocals.
Yeah, yeah.
But they could have just made a new band. You can
They
always
could've.
do that.
Yep,
You
they
can
had to
always
make
just make
new
a new
music.
band.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, we gotta
yeah, I mean,
capitalize on the name IP though that we own.
and that's where the cynicism can creep in on my end. Um, New Gnome,
Yeah, new gnome, new gnome, new gnome.
the third single from the album, and the music video is real silly.
Oh yeah, real silly.
I mean, it's animated. I can't describe it for you. You just
Okay,
gotta experience it at some point.
okay,
But
we'll
New Gnome
experience this at some point, I think.
and Red Scare Records, who I love, out of Cuba,
Mm-hmm.
released a 30-year anniversary compilation that is. I haven't listened to it all the way through. I've only listened to the lead tracks, but very good.
Very nice.
So
Very nice.
you should buy it. It's Bandcamp Friday. Got an hour 30. You're on the clock. Everybody on the VOD.
You
You'll
missed
never
out.
see it. You'll never get it. I mean, you can buy it.
Missed
You
out
just won't
forever.
give them as
Gone
much money.
forever.
That's all I got. I'm in
all
the
right.
tank. Other than making you watch
All
some
right.
weird shit.
All right. So what I got for you is people on the internet being real fucking stupid. All right. So hold on. Let me just tell you about this topic real quick. Okay. Okay. So morons on the internet, we're trying to figure out a way. I have no monies. I wish I had like infinite monies. They started realizing that checks exist and that they could put checks into an ATM machine that don't have funds to cover the check and cash them. And they were basically just committing check fraud. That was basically what they were doing to like get thousands of dollars. And now they're all royally fucked. They are all getting like prosecuted by Chase Bank, all of their names, because they use their own banking information and they're caught on camera doing this. And they're like going on TikTok and being like, I'm getting in trouble for this. TikTok. Oh, absolutely. Also that. It's just like a combination of like a bunch of different things. And it's just so fascinating that like these people figured out the check. Like they thought check fraud was like a new idea. They're like, no one's ever thought of doing this before.
So first of all, you say they discovered checks exist. The first thing that I think of, because I'm not 70 years old, was corn, rice, or wheat checks, or the fabled Chex Mix.
No. Checks is in the bank checks. Yeah.
Now explain to me what they think they're doing. They're going to a ATM.
They're saying, writing bad checks from their own account.
$25,000 out of my bank account from the ATM. And then the ATM can't give you that fucking money.
It gives them the profit. So there's something that they're doing that they're like writing checks to themselves or checks to their friends. And they're like going to cash them at ATMs. It was the thing that they were doing. Like they're doing there's one was writing bad checks and trying to cash them. And the ATM was just giving them the money. And be like, all right, fine, whatever.
And then the bank account gets hit for a negative amount. So the concept was they were writing it for, I want $5,000. This account has $5 in it, and I'm going to take the $5,000 and run, and nobody will be the wiser.
Yeah, no one will ever know.
Right.
It's just infinite money glitch, bro. I just figured out how to break the banking system, an infinite money glitch, bro. And then they're like coming after them, and normally it would be like just
I'm logged into this ATM under the checking account.
Under my information with my like social security number and shit attached to it. And they're like, no one will ever know. And then they went and some of them spent this money that they got, and they're even more royally fucked because they like tried to buy properties and shit with it. It's just like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, if you're smart, you take the bank's money and put it to work for you. Like that's what I would do.
Yeah,
I understand the basic concept. There are legal ways to do this if you don't have a bullshit credit score.
Yeah,
like I'm not gonna get too far into it, but
no, I know there's like the way banking and loans work. Yeah,
is a scam. Like no, but like if I were of the right mindset, I could theoretically probably get around $2.5 million in various loans right now.
Oh, I'm sure. businesses I knew were just doing it wholesale with the fucking like paycheck protection plan, like loans and shit, defrauding the government for millions of dollars and just being like, oh no, I needed
Well,
this
sure.
money, and then using it to like rebuild their building or some shit, or just pocketing it.
Well, see, my argument would be that you don't defraud them. You just become a fucking shithead landlord.
Yeah.
Like, it's very simple. You would then go and buy the property for any building that there is somebody operating in that they do not own the land under them, and you buy that building,
Uh-huh.
and then at the end of a 1 year term from when you purchase the property, you raise the rent, say $100. I wouldn't
Uh-huh.
even go 10%. And now you never have to work to pay back that debt.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
You are
essentially.
now $2.5 million net worth richer.
Yep.
Hooray.
Yep.
Now how easy is it to get the next loan?
Yep. There you go.
It's just the basis of it that is the frustrating and difficult part and the immoral part to me.
Uh-huh. But this was just very entertaining to me. And then they're like crying on TikTok that they're like getting taken to court by Chase Bank and are probably going to jail for a while. It's just very funny to me.
It's funny.
Just the stupidity of it is just funny to me.
Yeah, but I don't want to take a victory lap on it. Like, I don't know. If we really want to get political here, let my freak red flag fly. All of these hardcore conservatives, these arch matrons of the finance sector, like, usury's a sin, motherfucker. You're not allowed to lend money or assets, nor are you allowed to borrow them. Have fun.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like, yes, I think it's very funny that you're like TikToking about the IRS coming after you, like, or Chase Bank's lawyers.
It's funny at first, and then it just starts getting sad because then you're like, this person actually, like, they're trying to better their life and looking for any way to do it, and this is what ends up happening, and now they've just fucked up their life forever. And it's like, oh,
I won't even give them that much of a benefit of the doubt, but like, it's a unique position that they find themselves in because, like, easiest thing that Chase and Wells Fargo can do is write this off and save money with the government.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen because it is still white collar crime, even though it's not being done by white collar criminals.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, some of these guys might be, right? They might be orchestrating it. And maybe you want to get real conspiracy brained. Maybe some guy sold this as a TikTok trend because he wanted to get away with it. And he did because he did it smart. Right.
Maybe
if there's
so.
a smoke screen and there's 7 billion transactions happening like this. Maybe mine's the one that goes unnoticed.
Maybe so.
Right.
Maybe that's what happened. Just fascinating to me.
But what'll probably happen is they're going to reclaim what, like, okay, they went and tried to buy property, or they did successfully buy property. Okay, that's repoed. That's gone.
Yep.
Okay, like, so they're back to square one.
Yep.
And there will probably be some jail time, but I can't imagine anybody's going to go away for 25 years for defrauding Chase Bank.
No, not that much. Still, it's just interesting. It's just an interesting thing that happened that I was just like,
yeah, it's just the
enamored by the idea.
Because, like, I have no respect for financial institutions or the
fuck them.
Like,
it's more the idea that they like thought no one had ever thought of this before, and it was just like a foolproof, like, we're just gonna get away with this. It was just that part of it to me was just fascinating. It's like
that part doesn't even surprise me. Like, I mean, the fact that they use their own accounts is incredibly stupid. But like the fact that you couldn't make a fake ID and walk in as Mr. George Miller to open a new banking account to do this. Like, you can tell they aren't criminals.
No.
At least not smart ones. But like, I would say even 10 years ago, and I'll blame TikTok, right? Because I'm an old man. But like, when you came into Lowe's and stole from me and you took a generator and I didn't really care because the company could cover it.
It's insurance and the company covers it. Whatever. Who the fuck cares?
You didn't then live blog it or live post it. Like, you weren't recording yourself committing the crime to then post onto your TikTok later. Like, I just brag about the money. Don't brag about how you got it.
Yeah, you weren't live streaming yourself fucking storming the Capitol or something.
like a victimless crime, just have this much extra effort of, yeah, this is how I'm spending these fucking stacks of green that I got, instead of, hey y'all, I want to show you this hack. And maybe it's all fake. Maybe it's Tide Pods all over again. Maybe nobody's doing this. And you're just getting
Maybe.
videos of people crying about Chase Bank coming to repo their Honda Civic they bought with their ATM money.
Oh fuck,
Like,
they're coming to repo my Honda Civic that I'm spending $50,000 on. Fuck.
Well, but there's so many, like, this is the other poison brain for me, is like, I don't trust anything on TikTok. Everything's manufactured.
Oh, everything's a lie. It's so funny to me.
Is there a reaction video that is genuine, that's not just some shithead punching somebody out of the blue on the street? Probably not.
I love how
Like,
many, like, there's an entire
my girlfriend surprised me with this, and like the post is absolutely their 50th take.
There's like an entire like infrastructure on TikTok of people who, like, the whole thing that they do is they go to Reddit and find like Ask Reddit threads and just have an AI voice read the Ask Reddit thread with like the comment or something on the screen and like a video of Minecraft parkour happening behind it. And it's just like, that's an entire thing, and people fucking love it. It is just like, just go to Reddit. Just go read this on Reddit. What the fuck are we doing this? Why are we here? What's happening? It's like the most creatively bankrupt thing. It's just so fun. I know the answer, but it's just like, it's just so funny to me that it's happening.
Is your answer that it makes money? Because my answer is nobody wants to read, and some of them can't.
That's also partially true. Yeah, we have like we have like the worst literacy rates in America that we've like ever had. I'm not surprised.
I know people in my life that can barely sign their own name. That's just the thing that exists.
Yep.
So if you have some barrier to entry to viewing this, like, there's that. But then there's also just like, I don't know, like, you listen to podcasts, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I listen to podcasts. They're not like reading word for word the Reddit post or something all the time, but
no, but there's a space for that. Like, there's book talk.
It's just funny to me. Yeah,
I'm sure there is a depth of podcasts and TikTok rabbit holes about the Royals. Like,
there's so many. There's so much content on everything. Yeah, it's literally just like.
But so I won't begrudge somebody getting it read to them. I think the creator is a little bit morally bankrupt. Like, I think
100%
be like the Reader app, but like, I don't know. They're presenting you with content that you wouldn't have interacted with otherwise. They are doing some service.
It's just interesting.
Are they crediting Dong Lover 75 XXX12 on Reddit? Probably not.
Dude, there's like so many, like, also I've seen so many podcasts that are literally just two people sitting in a room just reading an "Am I the Asshole" thread to another person, and that other person just going, "Ha, that's wild," and then they laugh about it, and then it's like, that's the whole fucking thing, and I'm just like, what is happening?
I mean, there was an A24 movie in the last 2 years that was based on a Twitter thread of a like high class call girl. Absolutely, this exists. It's like Zara. She had her 15 minutes of fame and turned it into an A24 movie, man.
Oh, there's just like so many of them too that like
in the movie about her story also.
Well, and everyone like who also listens to them also believes every single thing that's said in these things. And I was on Reddit like a long time ago when this shit was like first coming around, and there was the common thread always was like, whenever someone told a story that was too unbelievable to be real, it was like, yeah, that happened. Yeah, sure, that happened. Because it's like, there's no way. This isn't real. This isn't real. This is a story that you made up and are lying on the internet for fake internet points.
Yeah, that happened.
That totally happened.
I'm trying to do the robot voice for you.
Yeah, that happened.
I'm sure it even reads it out in the video if they're reading the comment thread.
They do. First. They do sometimes. There's like a very specific voice that they use that I can't quite mimic. But I know I know exactly what it sounds like.
5 TikTok voices, and I think it's the AI, but not quite Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. It's just so funny that they just.
Let's get out of a brainworm.
Let's fucking reel it back in. Let's go. What do you got?
So if you didn't see, there was news on the SAG-AFTRA and video game strikes this week.
Oh, was there?
And if you're not aware, it's still happening, and power to the
Yeah,
strikers and
yeah, I
all
know
that
it's
fun
like
stuff.
around voice acting specifically is what's happening a lot, I think.
So they keep trying to pitch it as a major victory. It's one of the bigger Tencent studios has come to terms and have actors working on their
Okay.
projects. I have no idea who the studio is. It's Lightspeed. Are you familiar with Lightspeed? Because they are currently
Mm.
working on a bunch of games that are high profile. It's like The Last Century or The Last Ronin or something, and a couple of other games. But like, I got a lot of news and I started to get excited because they were saying things like
PUBG
80
Mobile.
is
What?
Lightspeed.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I'm trying to find like a list of fucking games that they've made. Hold
Oh,
on.
they don't have a wiki. It's under Tencent.
Okay. And they did like a fucking Quake 2. What? I don't know. Anyway, keep
Port.
going.
Yeah, that was recent. No,
Yeah,
Quake 2 is it was released under Bethesda.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it's a ground up remake. It's very good. Has achievement support now for some
Hmm.
reason. Um Last Sentinel is the name of this game, and it's a AAA game, and I'm not excited about it, but I started getting excited and I was like, "Oh shit, 80 80 studios." And then it very quickly, when you start clicking on the links, you get halfway through the article and they're like 80 games, and I'm like, 80 games? And it's because it is Tencent who's making billions of games, and they have come to terms. This is the worst part about it, is they did not agree to a like perpetuity agreement where they're not ever going to use AI in games. They have come to terms to allow the striking workers to work on their projects.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So these games will not be used in AI models, is all that we're being promised.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that I do think it's worthwhile to keep a
No, yeah. I keep up with a lot of it because I follow a lot of
profile
like
on, keep a spotlight
pretty
on it.
high profile like voice actors who talk about it a lot on like Twitter and stuff.
Well, I mean, it is in fact kind of a big deal.
It
Like
is.
like these guys supposedly are working on the it's the game that was the original BioWare team, the Exo Force or Exo File Born, whatever. Like, it looked like a bunch of guys in mech suits. It kind of looks like Anthem, actually, is what it looked like to
Yeah.
us when they
Is
released. Hey,
Exo
we talked
Primal?
about this, right? No, no, it's a real game.
Ah.
No, but it's genuinely like I'd have to look into it, but that team is part of this. So like theoretically, this is a big step in the right direction, that a big studio is like at least making deals with individual game
Uh-huh.
contracts. Like, you
Yeah,
would
yeah.
like it to be industry wide, you'd like it to be studio wide, but you know, we want to keep it in the spotlight. I don't think it's as big a victory as people are trying to paint it, but
No, it's
after
not.
as long as they've been working on it, and it's just not high profile enough. Like, SAG-AFTRA went on strike at this point 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
And it
Yep.
was in the news daily. Like,
Well,
I
and
maybe
it
not for
shut
you, but for
down
me,
all of Hollywood is partially why. That's one reason. And to like most people, voice actors
except
are
for
like second
commercials.
class
That's why
citizens.
we have all these bullshit commercials. This is why Jason Momoa is trying to sell you pistachios or whatever. It's
Yeah,
because all the Hollywood celebrities were like, I don't have a new paycheck. I can't possibly live without being in front of the camera.
but
You
like
also got
it's
some
just
primo podcast guests, right?
yeah, it's just like a symptom of like as much as I love voice acting and I think it's very interesting, it's the same thing with like animation and people don't really give respect to the animation medium either. It's just like they don't think voice acting is real acting because they don't see their face. It's so frustrating. I hate it. It makes me crazy.
Well, it's so interesting to me because it is a SAG-AFTRA strike,
Uh huh.
but SAG-AFTRA members aren't affected. Like,
Yeah,
theoretically, a
yeah. They're not
SAG-AFTRA strike.
striking in like solidarity or anything either. They just went back to fucking work and they're just like not caring. It seems
Well,
like.
because film and movies are not struck items. So theoretically,
Yeah.
all of these voice actors could work in an animated film,
Yeah, if they
and it would
wanted
not
to.
be a conflict of
Yeah, it's
interest.
specifically like for video game purposes.
Nolan North just can't make a new Last of Us, assuming he's a member. Like, I'm just
Yeah, yeah,
throwing the
yeah, yeah,
example out
yeah.
there. So it'll be curious. I mean, I will also say there is bad voice acting out there. I don't know that there's ever been bad voice acting where people have hired voice actors. Like, I am one of those guys that devalues it, because unless you're trying for a very specific character or have a very, very heavily
Mhm.
narrative driven cinematic experience, I don't know, like Aloy in Horizon is one of the worst voice acting jobs ever done in media. And you know what? You don't care. Well, I did care, but you don't care because it doesn't matter. It was the worst part of the game for me, is walking around and listening to somebody monotoned in my ear going, ah, it's getting cold outside. Ah, it's getting dark out. Ah, dinosaurs, enemies nearby. Ah.
Yeah, and it is what it is. That was I understand why they did that. I just didn't love it, but
Well, they do it in
The Witcher does it too.
every uh-huh. In every third person action game that they've done in the last few years. They
Yeah,
assume that,
characters just talk to themselves.
well, it's the only way that you can have diegetic exposition,
Yeah. Oh, and
which
also like they try to cut down UI stuff as well. So like they have to have the character say something because otherwise it's like a UI thing they have to come up with, and they don't.
they
Well,
don't
they like
have to, they
minimalist
choose to,
AIs. Yeah.
because it's easy, right? It's the, yes, I mean, I will argue that if they were really trying to do that, they wouldn't have made every ledge yellow that you climb on. But like, there is a certain amount of that. But you know what games used to do to combat that? Game creators used to do? Like, yes, there's a little bit of your character might be like, oh, now which way was the way out of here?
Uh huh.
Left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're familiar with the area. That's in fitting with the character. You know what else they can do? Is you can have an item that they look at and it's a little map. Then you have to follow the map. But that would require 3 seconds of thought processing on the player's part. It might confuse them. So
It's a
instead,
little
I'm just going
bit
to say
because
the
gamers.
left, the bird, the left.
Yeah, it's because the audience needs someone to hold their hand a lot of the time.
Well, and like, there are games that are designed poorly that I agree. Like, when, not to tarnish an entire genre, but when Japanese games don't have a very structured quest system,
Uh huh.
very often they become an incomprehensible mess of, okay, you finish this cutscene. How do you progress the story? Well, you have to go 3 towns over, enter the third store on the left, interact with the fishbowl 3 times, and then the game will progress. And you're like, what?
Yeah, there's a
What in this
middle ground.
RPG is it?
There's
Right?
there's
Like,
there's a middle ground to be struck between like that and like or like
it's
a from soft
particularly
game and like a
inside.
fucking modern other games. Yeah,
Well, like, and that's what I would argue is like, FromSoft does it badly.
they
They
do.
do.
Elden Ring is the worst about it. Like they just kind of let you go, or they just go figure it out, bitch. It's like, what am I?
So
Who am I? Where am I going? I don't know what anything this is.
Dark Souls and Demon Souls, at least, if you paid enough attention to the notes,
Yeah.
like that you
Well, and
pulled through the game, I don't even mean the
you
multiplayer note system. I mean,
there's at least like just somewhere that you can go. Like it's pretty directed. Like there's only so many places you can
well,
go.
it's a Metroidvania. Like, it all
Yeah.
loops back in. It's recursive. It loops
Yeah.
back in on. Like, I'm not going to defend FromSoft games because I don't like them, but at least the early ones seemed to understand that.
Elden Ring's the worst
And
about
then,
it.
well, but they fully intend for you to just, as the community, discover where to go, and about a quarter of the time you fuck each other over, and like,
Yeah.
that's just the
Yep.
game, and that's miserable to me. But again, like, if you're going to give the semblance of exploration and discovery, keep my hands off. Like, I fully appreciate that, and I don't want that level of character callouts and yellow paint on ledges and stuff. Like, let me explore the situation and go, okay, what tools are at my disposal and what can I use them for? And a good game designer understands that you're going to have construction and you're going to encounter the tools in the right order for the right challenges. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there will be, oh right, I can go back. Right, Super Metroid was, I think, the first time I remember seeing this. Of okay, now that I have rockets, I can go in these 5 rooms. Okay, now that I have the morph ball, I can go in these 6 rooms. Like you gate your progression based on experience of the player. Doesn't fucking work in a wide open world where people are just going to boss rush the main villain. Like,
Yeah.
could you imagine if Breath of the Wild was a Legend of Zelda game? Like, could you fucking imagine?
Now, I find a lot of those games to be incredibly boring. There is not a
I
lot of stuff in them. They're very empty worlds to me, and I don't
but I
appreciate that about them.
and and I'm right there with you. It is the primary game that people make now. Because otherwise it's a ghost train. They're just forcing you to go places. I'm like, yeah, that's called narrative. Like, I'm sorry. I don't want to spend 40 hours on side quests when there is the end of the world or
Well, and
my
like
love interest is in peril or
all of
like
the fucking little like shrines that you have to do in all of the Legend of Zelda, like the two new Legend of Zelda games. It's just
don't
like
have to.
you have to though. You don't have to, but you have to.
No, you can boot up the game and walk to the center of the map and fight the boss.
Yeah, you could. Just there's like no narrative like behind any of them other than like do this puzzle. They're just like little puzzle boxes.
Right.
It's like, all right, I
But
want
that's
some reason why.
but that's the reason that there is no narrative is because the entire game is a challenge rush. It's not a Legend of Zelda game in the
Yeah.
truest sense of you have to go through these dungeons, and as you progress through the dungeon you're going to learn a new skill based on the item that you unlock
And there's
for
gonna be
this
like some
dungeon.
characters that you talk to in the dungeon, stuff like that
Right,
sometimes.
and there's a set number to the dungeons. Like you have to go 1 to go to 2, 2 to go 3, 3 to go to 4, and it's gated off naturally with the abilities that you unlock, and the challenge progresses accordingly. Right, in room 1 you only have bombs. In room 2 now you have bombs and arrows. In room 3 you have bombs, arrows, and the hook shot. Like there is a certain build to it that people don't have a patience for, especially
Yeah.
in sequelized games.
Oh
Like
yeah, man.
for a long time, you would get those narrative experiences, and the understanding was like Batman Arkham Asylum to Batman Arkham City. You lose your entire utility belt.
Yeah.
Was there really a narrative reason to it? Not
Nope.
especially, but it made for the new player experience. You pick up where you left off. You have to learn these new abilities. In the game, they dole it out barely as a narrative experience of as you progress through the night, we're able to like drop more supplies for Bruce, right? But
That's like a trope that I hate in video games is like, let us take away all of your toys like in the first like 5 minutes. I'm like, just let me have my toys.
okay, but
I
if you
hate it.
have them all from the beginning, then every challenge has to be built for the entire kit, which is a lot harder to do. But that is rather than trying, they instead insert mechanics that aren't the game,
Yeah.
right? Like, what element of Dark Souls is interesting outside of a boss fight? Or the other game that you just mentioned,
Elden
Elden
Ring.
Ring. Did Elden Ring benefit from an open world? Is it interesting to be in the open world, or would it be more interesting if you progress through different environments, different instances with
I
the
don't
3 or
find
4
it
interesting bosses?
particularly interesting personally. I find it very empty a lot of the
Mhm.
time, except with like patrols and like some like slight there's not a lot of environmental storytelling outside of like the dungeons.
And so a good, and I'm not pretending that From doesn't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
They know what
But
they're doing.
in a good example, you would take your full kit, right? Whatever you can do from all classes, right?
Hmm.
Whatever those movements are, whatever those abilities are, and you would make it so that your traversal is gameplay,
Yeah.
and it's not,
You have
right?
horse
Like
that has double jump. That's the traversal.
the one thing that I do think, and Arkham City isn't perfect, but one of the things that it did well was it felt good to get around the city, and the
Yeah.
individual instances that you ran into felt earned,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like there were no, I mean there was filler, but it wasn't filler, right? It was, oh, you just did a Riddler mission and you're going to be moving toward a Riddler boss fight that's going to be a very flavorful event, or there's a hostage situation and you take down the hostage situation. Like I'm not saying that there's not that gameplay, but it felt like you stumbled across it. It wasn't necessarily check off the box on the map, and it wasn't a slog to get there, right?
Yeah,
You'd
yeah.
hit your grapple, you'd super boost, you'd glide all the way over there, right? Or some of the older Assassin's Creed games, while they were fairly empty, like the parkour still felt fun. Like
Parkour was fun.
not all of them, right? Like from 2 on, maybe not
Yeah.
actually at all, but there was still that like idea there. And unfortunately, like maybe Far Cry 3 is where we lost that, where it was, you know what people like is having things on a map that they have to clear out, and that's what they're actually here after. It's go and grab the bit and bobble, go and do this challenge, go and like I don't know, do a race. Like
Hmm.
it's just so frustrating to me where like Arkham City feels like a good mix. Arkham Knight, Gotham Knights, probably the Suicide Squad game that nobody played except everybody played. I don't really know what the story on that one is. Are they making any DLC for it? Did we officially
No,
give
that
up on
game's
that?
being sunsetted. There's stuff coming, but it's being sunsetted.
Oh, okay, good for them. Um, but like they added in Batmobile races and glide challenges
Uh huh.
and like just stuff that felt so out of theme.
Yeah.
Like Predator challenges make sense. It's like, hey, take down this room of bad guys without getting your ass shot. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
They added things that just felt like they were on a checklist of like, well, we got to put some activities to do in this world, or otherwise they're gonna get bored.
Well, that's like the
We
Riddler
got to
things were
pad
already
out the
there. We
time.
already
We got to
had them.
pad out the gameplay time.
But there is that level of why the fuck is this in here? And it's the reason that I don't love the Marvel Spider-Man games. It's the reason that I
Yeah.
haven't bought the second two is because I don't like if you're going to try to give me a story that is point to point to point, objective to objective to objective, it's the end of the world, you've got to stop this supervillain.
Go hunt down your old
What?
backpacks across the city. Go do gliding challenges real
Well,
quick.
that's my point is like why am I interacting with the TikToker so that I can do a race against her and if I lose the race and nothing happens, there are no stakes? Why does this exist?
Oh, if I lose, Spider-Man loses some internet points.
And he
Womp
probably got
womp.
like I genuinely don't know what the mechanics are, but it's just like they have those and like they don't add anything. I mean, I guess they add an optional thing for you to do, but
It
what
just
they really
pads
do
out
is
the
they,
world.
you know what I need? I need dad mode. Like that's what I need is I need these games, these AAA games to add dad mode. And like if it's a Rockstar game like for Red Dead 3, which you know is coming eventually, right? For
Maybe.
Red Dead 3, give it to me straight, boss. Okay. Um when you travel from point to point, there is no travel time, right? It's there no cutscene. It's just we're going to load the next level. I the number of times that in Red Dead and Red Dead 2, it's like get on your horse and ride for 40 minutes in silence so that you can get to the
Oh,
next checkpoint.
dude, you just described like all of their games. Like GTA is the same
I know.
way, and
Well,
LA
I
Noir is the same
well
shit.
he's not. I Noir. Well, I don't remember it being that painful.
It was
Like
pretty bad.
it had a little bit more level design to it. I think there was the option to drive across the city, but you could still like if it wasn't
Every
specifically a
time I
drive where
could,
you
I
had
would
to have a
let my partner
conversation.
drive. I would let my partner drive every time. Be like, yeah, you drive, so I could just fast forward through it because I fucking hated it.
Well, correct. But what I'm saying is they would let you fast forward through it, except for when there was like a story conversation to have, when it was like discussing the case or whatever. Where Red Dead doesn't have that. You hop on your horse and you have to hold X so that he guides on the road until you get to where the fuck you're going. And then sometimes you have a
Immersive.
conversation while you're on horses. Like, right, no, I get it.
Immersion.
Don't waste my fucking time. I like I
You
mean,
want the
and I'm a
option to be able to
testament.
be like, just get me there. Just get me there.
Well, and again, give me the story. Like, I will sit down. There's a testament to this. Watch me play fucking Yakuza. I don't skip the fucking cutscenes. I watch them do all of their over the top, shitty Japanese soap opera voice acting. It's great.
Yeah.
That's not why I'm upset with your game. Why I'm upset with your game is because you don't have a fast travel option to get me across the map point to point so that I can continue the story. Get me to the next battle arena, get me to the next cutscene. I want to know what's going on. I want to play the fucking game. I don't want a lived in world and experience that these guys try to sell you on. Like, if you're going to do that, build a level. You don't want to build a level, you want an open world. Don't give me a way to avoid that open world. Give me dad mode that cuts out the pachinko machines and the fucking gambling, the optional card game. Please get the card game out of my fucking game. I don't want it to show up on my minimap. I want, this is the story, this is how you get point to point. And if the entire point of you traveling somewhere is just so that you can burn 30 minutes in the game, don't include it.
Yeah.
If it's not fun to get across town, don't include it. If there's not random encounters, don't include it. It's such a pain point for me of, in the same way that you get bogged down in medal systems or achievements or whatever else and those bother you, build a fucking level. Or if you're not going to build a level, don't waste my time with shit. The worst thing you can do to me is give me a claw machine or slot machine that is integral to the gameplay experience. Fuck you. Do not give me a quest where I have to stand at a machine for 12 minutes or go off and do a side quest about, I don't know, I've got to rig this jet boat race. It's not the gameplay for the rest of the game. It's not fun gameplay. Some guy just built a tech demo on the weekend and you decided to spend 40
we just put it in, yeah.
The RC races in Grand Theft Auto actually are exactly the point that I'm trying to prove, which is, fuck this. Fuck all of this. Why is this here?
And any side activities, come on, they're so good. Everyone loves them.
My finger fillet. Don't
cousin,
you
let's go bowling.
Fillet?
Let's go bowling, cousin.
X square. See, but at least the bowling had some narrative payoff. I will at least give them the courtesy of that. But so much of this shit is just oh, well, you have to play the minigame to have capital to progress in the main story. And I'm like, okay, why did you restrict income as a game mechanic? Why is this a thing? Why do I have to go play 20 hours of your business sim to get to the next level?
This is the game.
But then it's not 9 times out of 10. It's okay, so you went and did chocobo racing for 15 hours so that you had enough money or the right type of chocobo to proceed with the story. Good for you. You're never going to use that again.
The vehicle pod is next.
Game again. That is exactly what it is. Here's the one-off wave racer level to where we're going to then bring it back to your third-person hack and slash experience. Why was the jet ski there?
Now you're a fucking egg. Collect all the eggs to complete the story. Now you're an egg, motherfucker.
This has been Uncle Corner.
The vehicle pod is next. Uncle Corner, Uncle Gaming Corner.
You and I are gonna have to sit down and watch a Russell Crowe marathon. I'm just gonna make you watch all the Russell Crowe movies.
I like Russell Crowe, and I don't want to do this.
I mean, what if we only do the good ones? And by good, I mean the ones I like.
What was that one that he did with Ryan Gosling or some shit that's getting a sequel that's coming out? Nice Guys! I want to say the other guys. I'm like, that's not that. That's not it. That's the fucking Will Ferrell dog shit one. Yeah. Nice Guys. They're doing a sequel or whatever. And he's fucking in it again. Russell Crowe.
Yeah, but we got we could dive into American Gangster. You got the remake of 310 to Yuma. You got
I saw
Master
that one.
and Commander.
I do actually like 310 to Yuma.
Mind. You've got Gladiator. You've got The Pope's Exorcist. You've got the other movie that came out this year where he plays an exorcist that's not The Pope's Exorcist.
I do actually unapologetically like that 310 to Yuma remake. The guy who's the villain in that movie was really good. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, it's Russell fucking Crowe.
No, there's the other guy. The other antagonist of the film is his second in command of his gang, who is trying to get him back the whole movie. That's the antagonist I'm talking about. His name's Charlie in the movie, but I can't remember the actor's name or whatever.
Yeah, he's
got a cool outfit and he dual wields pistols and he just fucking murders people and he's a sarcastic asshole. I love him.
There you go. It's Ben Forster.
Well,
there's another fucking movie that I've tried to get you to watch recently. You know what movie he's in?
What?
the middle Punisher movie. He's in the Thomas Jane Punisher, not the Dolph Lundgren Punisher, and not the Punisher Warzone. He's in the other Punisher.
The other Punisher. There's been like 5 of them.
I think there's only 3, and all of them are good for their own reasons. You just like John Bernthal for some reason.
I like John Bernthal Punisher.
It's fine. It's fine that you like him.
I like that one. It's a good one.
I just don't know why you won't appreciate all of the ones that came before. That'd be like if the new Blade movie came out and then you were like, I'm not watching any of the Blade movies. Not my Blade. Hashtag not my Blade. Or after watching this most recent Deadpool movie, you're like, I couldn't possibly watch the X-Men movies ever again. The reason you don't watch the X-Men movies anymore is because they were directed by a pedophile.
Yeah, we'll ignore that.
X2 is a near perfect movie. We should watch Blade. We should watch Blade 1, 2, and 3 also.
I've never seen Blade. I've been meaning to.
I mean, sorry, Blood Sprinklers at the club? It's got club, Blood Sprinklers together? Come on.
Oh, so one of the things I was going to talk about is, you got me on the track now. You know what I did last weekend because it was Labor Day?
Into a blood orgy?
I went to the goth club. I went to the Dallas Goth Club. That's only on Sunday fucking nights at like 9 o'clock in the night is when they open. And it was wonderful. I had a blast. I had such a good time with all my little goth friends and my little cyberpunk Blade fucking club. I was, because I hate, what's funny is like in my mind, I'm like, clubs are dumb. I don't like clubs. And I was like, oh, the problem isn't the club. The problem is their music sucks. That's the problem I have with most, and the people suck at a lot of them.
It's generally the people. It's, you just got to find your tribe. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't particularly like theme nights. Is metal night at your local dive bar pretty fun? Yeah,
it's probably great.
Like
But like, I went to that. It's a very long running one, so it was fun.
I've only been telling you to go for a
I'm
decade.
probably going again. Well, it also never helped that I always had day jobs that were like, what time does your job start? 5 in the morning. It's like, I'm not doing this. Do you work with industrial equipment for your job? Yeah, probably not a good idea. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, you just become the speed demon.
Yeah, I've just
become true goth.
I'm gonna end up doing like the
coffee and cigarettes.
I'm gonna end up just doing like the trade-off thing. It's like I could sleep or I could not and just go to the club and have fun instead. It was very fun. Made lots of new friends. It was a good time. You
just expect Monday to be a shit day.
That's kind of what I was thinking, because I was like, Monday's already one of my gym rest days, so it's just like I'm not going to the gym after work. That's just gonna be one of those days if it's like, yeah, this is gonna kind of suck. Maybe have a couple extra cups of coffee or some shit in the morning and just be like, yeah, whatever. Was it worth it? Yeah, it was worth it. All right, cool.
Caffeine pill. Injected directly into your veins.
Yeah, they're having a fucking Beetlejuice themed night this weekend, and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck you do other than just dress as Beetlejuice for this, or Lydia. Like, what the fuck do you do for that? They're like, it's highly encouraged to dress and theme, and I'm like, what's your idea?
Hamburglar.
Yeah.
That's Tim Burton as fuck, man.
That is very Tim Burton
if
core.
Hamburglar isn't the thing that shaped Tim Burton's psyche as a child, I don't know what is.
Oh, man.
He saw old McDonald's commercials with the Hamburglar coming to take your food. If you haven't seen the old, like, 1970s era Hamburglar ads, buddy.
Oh, I've seen them. Yeah.
That plasticine vacant scare.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
To children?
Yeah.
And now we aren't allowed to advertise food to children. So we only advertise strange B-level toys. You know who never runs an ad? Lego. You wanna know why? Because they know. They know they already got them.
They already got them. They already know. They already got their parents.
Yeah, anymore it's like, yeah, you can get bricks for your children, or you can spend 5 times as we can
spend $500 on Lego Rivendell. Here you go.
Oh, you think it's only $500?
It's $500. That's retail for it. It was like $500.
Yes, but you're not getting the black edition or the collector's edition. You're not getting even half the experience of Rivendell. You're getting the cheap version. It doesn't even look like Rivendell. This Rivendell, I'm telling you, this ain't your grandma's Rivendell. Yours is 2,000 pieces. Mine is 2,500 pieces. It only costs 6 times as much, and it gives you all the extra little details and bricks and baubles that you need. And oh, by the way, mine's actually the low tier. There's 3 tiers above it. You can buy so many more bricks. I just, if you're not familiar with this, Lego Star
Oh,
Wars
I
is
know.
where I
Oh, I was gonna say
understood.
that's the thing that happens all the time. I was about to ask if you'd see like the Dark Falcon shit that they made.
I did see, but like the Death Star, right? So the Death Star, regular Lego Death Star is about yay
Yep.
big.
Yeah, it was like
And
300
then
bucks
there's like,
back in the day.
well, but there's like 17 tiers of Lego Death
Uh
Star in the
huh.
same way that there are, because like AT-AT is like $300. For AT-AT that is reasonable size to be put on display, it's like
And looks like more
$2,000.
detailed. Yeah. 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 They have like their like true collector's editions and shit like that, or fucking
So
whatever.
I mean, it
It's
just
like
is what it
Gundam
is. Like,
kits. It's like fucking Gundam kits do it too. Not as bad, but
well, except like outside of the chibi, like Gundam generally look good. Like even the cheap Gundam, you're like, yeah, that's a Gundam. Whereas the Lego stuff, it's like, okay, for like $100, you're gonna get this piece of shit that kind of looks like the thing that you
if
bought,
you
like a
squint
Funko
at a
Pop.
distance, it
Yeah,
kind of looks like it's like if you just turned the resolution down on a movie every time you went down a price level, just like it's like
it's the bare minimum kit, and then the high tier ones are like, yeah, it kind of looks like a model of the thing, like a diorama, and I appreciate that. I do think it's a absolute cash grab and like money pit. I'll never buy them, but eh,
the amount of money that they charge for some of those kits just boggles my mind.
I would take it. I would take it in a heartbeat. If I were the man that invented the one line with 4 pips that clicks into other things that also have pips. Thomas Jane,
Yeah.
honestly. Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
You gonna be up all night.
Lego. Lego, Lego, Lego.
Are you shopping Lego now?
No, I was just typing in a topic because I had been on strike for a while. So I was like, I got to change it to something that's more relevant. We left that topic behind a while ago.
You could also just look them in the eye and say, good night.
That's what I'm about. I'm about to say we've hit 2 hours on this sucker. I think we're about ready to wrap this one up for tonight.
Should watch a movie, play a game,
I was gonna say we're gonna
something
play a
that's
game
not
probably.
serious.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, see you all next week on the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.